Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the one, the only knee-slapping K-pop podcast. It is your girl, Maria, not completely flying solo, but I am here with the one, the only, one of the best collectors of kR&B and K-hip-hop and some other Korean music of all time. kmusiceveryday, with K-me for short. Hello, K-me. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me. My name's KME,
Yeah.
or my real name's Derek, but everyone just calls me KME, so that's fine.
And you have been on the internet for a hot minute making playlists through SoundCloud, a couple other avenues. You've been releasing some music and giving out music recommendations. You're just a great inspiration for me back in my early days of discovering music, conveniently due to joining multiple Discords, actually, now that I think about it. I'm in multiple Discords. Am I active in most of them? Except for one? Not really, but, you know, that's how life works out, I guess. But, great to have you on board for this special episode of the podcast. As some of you who have been listening for a long time know, I have been doing a yearly kind of K-hip-hop, K-R&B, and some other Korean-type music that's not K-pop or trot or ballads review each and every year. I did do them with Satsi. This year, Satsi, I guess in our conversation, she said that she didn't want to, she didn't, how do I say it best? She didn't, feel comfortable because she didn't listen to as much K-hip-hop or K-R&B as in the past year as she did previously. But you know what? That's okay. We still love you, Satsi. Thank you for being our longest running special guest. Appreciate you, girl, for the foundation that we set up. But this year we managed to actually get, well, we as in me, myself, and I guess. Because it's me running these episodes, to be honest. Because Kayla and Sammy, respectfully do not listen to K-hip-hop or K-R&B as much in their spare time. That's not their niche, and that's A-okay. You know, we bond over the pop stuff, and, you know, I love that for us. But, you know, it's great to have a guest like Kami come in who does know the scene, has followed the scene for a long time. In the background, and it has helped me and some other Discord homies as well, like keep up to date with releases and stuff. It's greatly appreciated, at least on my end. And I keep name dropping you, so I feel like in like previous episodes, I feel like I have to. It was about time we included you if you wanted to do so, of course. But so glad to have you here, Kami, Derek, however you want to be preferred called by.
KME is fine, but yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, you've always been really receptive to like a lot of the stuff I post on like Discord and all that. So it's always nice to have someone else that is into the same stuff because it's pretty niche. Like Korean music, Korean music in general. But like even when you get down to like the R&B and then hip hop, and then even further into like the indie alternative electronic stuff, there's not a lot of people that you can really who share the same. I guess enthusiasm for it, so appreciate you for that one.
Oh, thank you. I try. But to be honest though, it's like one of those things that's like I feel like if you're gonna know about that sort of stuff, generally you're Korean yourself, and it's like you want to listen to what maybe you're from abroad or from elsewhere, and you want to listen to what the motherland got going on music wise in your in your parents' language or something like that, or like you're not gonna run into too many people into the other stuff outside of K-pop. In real life for the most part. And if they do, usually I feel like it's a combination. It's usually like a combination. They like the K-pop stuff, but they also found a way to branch out too, because maybe so-and-so's favorite collaborated with someone and they just so happen to like their music all of a sudden, which I kind of secretly hope is the case with some of the BTS collabs. I hope it's being I don't think it's converted as many people, but I hope that it's at least opened the doors for some K-pop fans to at least maybe be willing to check out some other music coming out of Korea that's not like, ballads or idol group pop or even individual pop artists from the country. But, that's why I like doing these yearly little lists of reviews, so it's easier for people to get into, to be like, okay, what came out this past year? What did you like? And I can check it out myself too over the course of time. And with that, shall we get started, as always, with the K-indie, alternative rock, electronic, the whatever category. That's not the R&B and not the hip-hop category. In this case, we'll cover both singles, like individual single albums, just singles off of albums, and then albums and EPs. And that will be the same way, too, for the kR&B stuff and the hip-hop stuff. Then we'll go ahead and eventually cover some notable news topics. And then I think we'll have some bonus conversations, too, because there's one in particular I want to hear from KME that I think must be recorded. The people, I think, need to know. It needs to be put on record, even though it didn't technically happen in 2023. It happened a year prior, but I think it needs to be on record, in my opinion. And I know that Kayla and Sammy would love to hear and have that on record as well. So, all right. We shall get started then with, of course, the indie side, the alt rock, whatever, electronic side of things. Starting off with Nell, Beauty of Acceptance, Wanderer, and Moonflower, which were all singles they released last year. It's Nell. I love Nell. I don't know how much Nell you've listened to, KME, but like for me, Nell's kind of like a comforting blanket. I go back to them a lot back in because they were like I think they were like the first indie band act I got into back in the day. Didn't realize how successful they were back in like 2008 and stuff like that, but either way, love their music. It's very, I would say melancholy. A lot of it's kind of sad, but like comforting sad, kind of like, it's okay, we're going through it, kind of deal. So like I always love when I go back to their music, because it's just kind of like, it's very comforting. It's very much like, okay, you get what I'm going through, I appreciate you kind of music. And their singles this year were kind of like that for me, so I'm happy to have heard from them again. Yaren Peck, formerly, 15 and off of JYP. She's been doing a lot in recent years. This year she released a few singles at the beginning of the year only. I think, unless she did something later with her band later on in the year, which I don't think she did, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But her singles, Fucking New Year and Big World, definitely set off 2023 for me in a good way. And I just like her, I guess, style of rock and pop that she's experimented with over the years, both the rock side mainly through her band, The Volunteers, and then also, which actually is funny, she's taken a page off of what's her name? Soyoon? She almost took a page off of Soyoon, being an individual artist yourself and then have a band. I've noticed that. Right. I'm wondering if that was the inspiration right there, but who knows. But yeah, no, I love Yaren. I just love her music. I go back to it constantly, even if her English might not be the most grammatically correct that she likes to use in songs. But it's character. It builds character. But I love it. And then another one, ESO, Saladays. Fun. Love this. What was the term again you mentioned earlier about the song? Was it Tripulation remix? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, I guess like kind of like a interpolation or sample. She basically samples it, but also is kind of recreating the song.
Yes.
From Humming Urban Stereo, which I think is the same name, Salad Days. But she kind of, I guess, modernizes the content and all that of the song and speeds it up a little bit, so more TikTok friendly, and it's really great.
I mean, that's one way. See, you gotta game the system sometimes to get your music out there, so she's smart in that regard. I like that. Even though I personally do not care for TikTok at all. I don't. I end up still getting TikTok on my feed anyways, thanks to Instagram and Reddit and probably YouTube as well. The videos end up on my feed somewhere, so I still end up consuming TikTok content, just I don't intentionally go into the app. That's a whole story for another day, but like, anyways, I get the side hustle, I get what you gotta do. But she, in the process, she makes a great song out of it too, which is very much appreciated. And I think it's genius production. I think I mentioned it earlier, also Kami, you recommended this song. I saw it in a Instagram video. Was it Gary V? No, not Gary V. Gary D.
Derek
I'm trying
G.
to remember his name. Right. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, Derek G. Derek G. Yeah.
Shout out him. I'm in his Discord, so I like shared it in like one of the recommendation channels, I think, or something. and I guess he took a liking to it, and then he enjoyed the story more too, because I think he knew of the Huss song before. So yeah, it was pretty cool. He shouted me out on his Instagram, I think Instagram Reel or something like that, because I think he
It
couldn't
was his
post it.
Instagram reel. I was like,
Okay,
oh my gosh, you did it!
yeah, I
You
think
did it,
it was
KME.
blocked on like TikTok or something, so he did it on the
Oh,
Reels.
of course. Oh, of course. I mean, again, boo, TikTok, boo. But that's just my opinion, of course. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Was it Bido? Whoever, ByteDance? Don't come for me, ByteDance. Whoever owns that. I forget. Somehow it's connected to the CCP, so who cares at the end of the day? Anyways, moving on from that. Love Isu Days though. Moving on. But moving on. We got next on here, Silica Gel. Ooh, good one, KME. So why this one for you popped off?
Oh yeah, so this one is Tic Tac Talk featuring Soyun of Seisonen by Silica Gel, one of my favorite bands that's been around quite a while. They released last year right at the end of an album, but we'll probably talk about that later. But this song was actually my song of the year that I chose for like my KME end of the year stuff.
Yay!
Just a really great straight up rock song. I think it's very pop friendly, but it's like 6 minutes long, and the last 3.5 or 4 minutes is actually just a one long guitar solo. And so I thought that was really awesome. You don't really see that much more in I guess a lot of songs. You don't see like guitar solos a lot nowadays. So I don't know. It's just one of those songs where like once I heard it, I was just mind blown, and then it just kept replaying it. So they released it as a single, and then it came out on their album that they released later on in the year. But yeah, when I was choosing my song of the year, it was down to a couple, but this one kind of stood out for just for being a great song. Just like the first half, and then that crazy guitar solo near the end is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see because if you have consumed our content in the past, Kami, as in like the knee slapping K-pop content, if you have once in a while, it's okay if you haven't. But if you or anyone else has, you would know that our group definitely loves our idol bands. We definitely do love our idol bands, but I also, besides the pop bands, really enjoy a nice band and some dope rock once in a while. I don't always have the craving for rock, but when I do, I appreciate bands like Silica Gel, and also just for pushing the boundaries in music, and mainly the boundaries in Korea, because I think, and not to say that there aren't artists on the English speaking side of things that do music like this, because there probably is, but you don't really, I don't know how much in terms of Korea does the type of rock that Silica Gel does as often. No doubt they have probably a few contemporaries that do, but I appreciate bands that like give us like a dope ass guitar solo and just good features and just solid all around. So like Silica Gel, I'm glad because I never really got into them prior to like this past year, but you kept on posting about them, and I'm just like, yeah, they good, they know what the hell they're doing, and I love that. I love that shit. But yeah, no, it makes sense to me. It perfectly makes sense why they would be your favorite. It screams you, honestly. So yeah, it's an awesome choice. And then we got a couple more as well on the list. About 4 more. So
Sure. So next one I have on there is a song called Bapi by an artist named The Deep. She's like a independent. Originally started doing a lot of kind of R&B ish stuff, and electronic kind of style, like electronic style R&B. But now she's fully kind of doing a lot of different electronic type stuff. This is I don't know, I guess you can kind of say like a housey track, very danceable. But yeah, she's been doing, she kind of blew up this past year. She's been doing a lot of stuff on like TikTok and Twitter, and I think she got picked up quite a bit from the Twitter page New Group Promoter, and so she kind of blew up on that. So I see her reposting on there all the time. But yeah, just a really fun song. She had this one. There was another great song she released called oh my god, I'm blanking on it. But it was another kind of like UK garage type song. Oh, Sensitive Cat was the name of that song.
okay.
Yeah, so both those are really good, but this one was kind of really stood out as just a really great kind of housey track. And I remember too because she was being promoted on New Group Promoter, so that's mainly a K-pop for like lesser known, primarily girl groups and female artists.
They should. I would like for them to promote the boys more, but I think there might be a separate Twitter page for that. But
yeah, just
I do approve. I want the love spread around in the K-pop sphere of things, because sometimes it's very girl group focused.
Right? Yeah, I noticed that they only post a lot of female and girl groups. So, but yeah, so she got posted on there. And I remember too, like she was getting put on a lot of like K-pop playlists and like pages, Twitter pages, and all that. And she was like, "No, this is like a house, like this is Korean house, like
I
house
am
music.
pop. I'm electronic, girl.
Yeah,
Do not loop me in with." She's like, "No, I am not. I'm not that girl."
But it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense because she's kind of, it's very pop friendly in terms of like sound. Like,
yeah,
it's very accessible. But it's still still stays true to like the house sound. So that's really cool. And yeah, I really like that song.
that's dope. I think I might have missed listening to this one, but I have to check it out because I love me my dope house stuff. Yeah, because there's always a few things I slip between the cracks. This is one of them. I'm pretty sure it happens because I honestly wasn't paying attention too much to the internet K-pop side of things this past year because life and getting older, I guess, and making choices of what you want to pay attention to. But I do try to pay attention to releases. It's pretty much the main thing. It's like releases, sometimes watching a performance, and then music, because it's just easier for me to consume with that.
Right, I feel
especially with it's always harder with work for me to listen to certain things. But anyways, moving along, we got
okay, for the next one I got Nar. I'm not sure exactly how you say it, but that's how I've been saying it. It's stylized all lowercase NAAR and then a period.
Just like how they say it in Australia. Nar.
Yeah. Right. The Nar.
I think. Oh god, I feel like Australians would hate me for saying that. But I mean, to be honest, it's how they sound saying no. Not gonna lie.
It's always weird that they don't hear it. But so
truly.
the song is called Party Monster. It's a really dope song that I really like. It's very different. It's kind of almost like just vocal is for the first few minutes of the track. It's just his vocals and almost like just maybe synth strings in the back, so almost a cappella. And then it just kind of slowly builds into this really crazy, for the last 30 seconds of the track, like a drum and bass drop. And it's really great. He's a fairly new artist. He's kind of mysterious. I don't think he shows his face. Like in his music videos, he doesn't show his face. He has
one
cover.
of those. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know much about him besides these 2 songs he dropped this year. But he's a new artist. I can't remember off the top of my head what label he's on. I think... I don't want to say the wrong label, but yeah, it just really struck a chord with me on this song. And he has another song called Weirdo that's really great. But I just really liked how unique this one was. Did you get a chance to listen to this one?
Did I? Did I? It's kind of, I don't think I did, unfortunately. So I'm adding that to the pile as well.
Cool,
of things Maria needs to listen to right away. But I will say, if you describe him mysterious, to quote Ice Spice, "I'm not a regular artist," is what it sounds like to me.
There you go.
So, to quote Ice Spice, oh god, how much I've liked Ice Spice this year. It's kind of funny. To go off on a quick side tangent, someone in my personal life asked me if Ice Spice was part of the Spice Girls, and I'm like, no. Oh my god, no. I can look, to be fair, I can see where they're coming from. I can see.
It makes sense.
But I was like, I think she was born after they were popular. Sorry to say.
Right.
She's very young. Well, she's not very young. She's an adult. But, like, comparatively, I'm pretty sure she was born in, like, 2000 or 2001. Like, so, like, she's younger than me. And I think by that point, the Spice Girls were either they were, like, near the end of their career anyways, because I think it was, like, really, like, 1996, 97, 98, 99, they were popular. And she's not British, so... I'm like, I could see the connection, because Ice Spice, Posh Spice, Sporty Spice, Ginger Spice, and the other 2 who I forget, Someone's gonna remind me probably, but you know, I could see where you're coming from, but no. She was not that pop at all. But it's just super fun on that side tangent. But honestly, but you know what is? I was gonna try to go and transition smoothly, but I can't. But another song that I love, that I'm so happy she's getting her flowers for, Peggy Goo. It goes like, nah, 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 let's go. Oh my god. Oh my god. My brother, who actually is almost done with school. Shout out to my bro, if he ever hears this. But oh my god, he messaged me like, hey, have you heard of Peggy Goo? I was just like, she's that popular? I checked Spotify. Oh my god, it's on the viral charts. It's charting here. I'm like, oh my god, she's getting it. Because my brother, otherwise I'm just like, Grant, how do you know her? Or my brother, it's cute. But anyways, oh my god, I'm so happy she got the success with it. No, I'm so freaking happy for her. She does great, like, house-like music, and she's a workaholic, too. I see her constantly traveling, touring, plugging her merch. So, like, this is great. I'm so excited. Anyways, yeah, I could go on a tangent all day about Peggy Goo. I love her stuff. I remember when you first dropped, like, oh, what was it? You know that song?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
I know, I'm blinking.
That was like 2020, I think. I want to say 2019, 2020 she dropped that. And since then I've like constantly kept up with her. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, she's great. And like you said, she kind of finally blew up. I mean, she's been a popular DJ producer for quite a while now, but yeah, the reason I like this song is just it was just kind of it was literally like the song of the summer this year, as played out as that term is. You just heard it everywhere, and it's one of those ones where, you know, she's never really existed inside the quote unquote Korean music sphere, but she's very big into the like rave and house like dance music scene. And yeah, just a really fun song. It's really catchy. Yeah, I loved it. And you know, she gets a lot of flack too, because she's also a very good looking woman that posts, like, you know, on Instagram, and does like marketing deals and stuff like that too. So it you know, the usual stuff for like a lot of women DJs get that. But you know, that's just haters and dumb men. But
that's the internet for you. It's
right.
inevitable. Once you get popular enough, there's always going to be someone in the corner, either a bot or someone just trolling, or someone just, I don't know, stupidly being fixated on you negatively for some reason. I feel like that's just kind of the inevitable at this point in time.
Yeah, so unfortunately she has to deal with a lot of that, but yeah, shout out to her. Really, really great song that just, like I said, took over the summer this season.
Ah, so good. So good. And then one more single we got. I think this one, I don't think I was able to listen to this one? I might have, but I've forgotten what it sounds like. But KME, you can take this one away, I think.
Sure. For this last one, I got it's a song called Knowledge Addict by a singer named Sion. I feel like he's somewhat known outside. Like, he's kind of independent ish R&B. I don't want to say independent because he's on a pretty decent label. I want to say it's Mommy Son's label, Beautiful Noise.
Okay.
I think that's the one he's on. He's on one of those. That's so it's not really independent, but I know he got he got pretty popular in previous years. He featured on someone's song. I want to say Don Malik, Showing the Money. Showing the Money 11, I want to say. And he just has a really unique kind of singing voice. It goes from like almost like speaking, like a regular speaking voice. It's really kind of lower and monotone, but also he can get really high in his notes and stuff like that. And I just really like the song. It has a great music video. It's just one of those ones that I kind of unexpectedly, because listen to a lot of his stuff. It's not really my favorite like sound or type of music, but this one really stuck out for me. So, and I think he has a decent ability to cross over into maybe like the K-pop audience, so maybe more like your guys' audience for the normal content. So I think if you haven't heard of him and you're a fan of like K-pop or like K-pop singers that are more R&B ish or like indie sounding, he'll definitely be up your alley.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think it was a good I remember liking it, but I think there were other like standouts for me for the year, if I remember correctly. But I think good crossover songs is a good way to get started when you do these sort of things. So thank you for that recommendation. And now moving on to albums and EPs for these guys. First up, Very Coy Bunny, Now or Never. I really enjoyed her her singles. I think it was a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I think. That were like, I got me hooked. I think you probably most likely you posted them in the Discord, Cammy, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is great. I love it. Female guitar rock, pseudo rock people, singers, love it. This album she released this year, yeah, very very much that rock sound. How do I want to say it? Not like a progressive rock, but like a very palpable rock that's not K-pop band rock sound, but still very good nonetheless. Like a step in between that, which I appreciate. So also I think would be a nice artist to check out as well. Now or Never, solid album release. Really enjoyed that. Next one, I think, considering they have your favorite single of the year, I feel like you should talk about next one, KMA, because I think you need to. I think you should be the one to carry the torch on the next one.
Okay. Yeah. It's funny because we have a lot of crossover on this section. So, but yeah, we talked about them earlier. It's Silica Gel, and they released an album called Power Andre 99. Released it right at the end of the year, like on the 20th of December. So, but a lot of the songs on there, they released as singles in the year 2023 and 2022 before that. So a lot of the album you kind of heard before, but yeah, just it's their first album since 2016. Their first album was that. And then they just kind of did EPs and singles since then. Yeah, just, it's crazy how much they've come, because from the earlier stuff is very weird and experimental. This one, I think they released a project that's both accessible but still stays true to that weirdness and experimentalism. Just a great, like I said, we talked about it before, great rock band.
Yes.
Yeah, just can't. They're easily one of my, if not my favorite band in the Korean music scene, and yeah, I just love it. A lot of great songs in there, like Mercurial. The one we spoke before about, Tic Tac Talk. Yeah, just a lot of great guitar, cool vocals. I know this. I haven't been able to really dig deep into the lyrical content and concept of the album, but I know it's basically a concept album. The like Power Andre is like a boy that's kind of, I think, like almost like a Pinocchio real boy kind of thing going on there. So I know that story carries on throughout, but I just haven't been able to dig that deep in it. But yeah, check out their music videos. Really, really sick visuals. They've been known for that, kind of as a visual artist. That's really great on like music festivals. So they've kind of popped off this year, which is really cool considering their music is not. It's gotten a lot more general public friendly, but surprisingly, this group has gotten as popular as they have with the sound that they're doing. So, but yeah, what did you think about this album?
Oh, this album was great. Fantastic. Let's see. I'm like kind of basic, so like I like Realize a lot. I like No Pain. Tic Tac Talk obviously is a really good album. Yeah, the thing with the conceptual stuff is that's always hard because it comes down to translation. So unless you know Korean very well,
right,
they don't always get these groups, like when you go this niche, translated unless you know someone who can help with that, who is willing to help with that. So I don't know how you're gonna find. I don't know what you do to find out that kind of information, but honestly, more power to you, Kami. More power to you, because definitely not easy. Because usually, of course, when it comes to translations of songs and stuff, they're gonna usually do it for the pop artists. Shocker. That's where most of the well-known groups' music is from Korea, so they're gonna probably translate that, most likely. You don't see too many for, there probably are, there's probably some that exist, but you don't see them too much for the other Korean music branches as much, mainly because, again, the outside, fandom, or just, like, interest in that from the outside world outside of Korea is smaller, so, obviously they don't cater to that part as much, but, that I can see the Pinocchio influence, because the name Power Andre 99 sounds like a name of, like, a toy, except, you know, it's giving more cyborg, or robot, if you will.
Right.
Which would make sense, given, like, what I heard off this album. I'm like, yeah, that gives the vibe. That gives the vibe a little bit. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this album. This was great. No, I'm just like, let's recommend this one to everyone. Like, please listen to this. This is great. Great music. Just go listen. Have fun with that. And then on to the next one. Who I think is pushing boundaries in the pop sound, I'd say, and I think you might agree with me. Pop electronic sound. Sifika. Oh, Sifika. Gosh, I think I remember her. When did I first hear her feature? I think it was on some Crush EP. I think it was when I first heard Sifika. And then you kept introducing her music. And then she released Ion this year. I think it's been a hot minute since she released an album too. Same thing with Silica Gel, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe this is her first album. I'm trying to remember. No, this isn't her first album, is it? I don't think.
I know she released a couple before that, but they're mainly on EP length. So I think they're just EP. So it might be her first full length,
full on album. Okay, so this might be her first. But yeah, also fantastic, solid album, really experimental. Of the ones that I would recommend off of this album, at least for me, let's see here. I do like Melody. I like think Giant Lion, Nebula. Yeah, I'll go with those few. But a solid release in general. I like it when it's more of a consistent kind of sound flew out, and Ion is giving more that, like, it's giving more that science sound. Maybe if you name an album Ion, I don't know. It's giving that vibe. But yeah. Sifika's cool. She just continuously puts out very interesting stuff to me. What did you feel about this one, Kami?
Yeah, same thing. It's really great. I love Sifika for quite a while. I just checked up. She did have a album in 2020 called Hana. I forgot about that one.
Okay, there we go. So second album then.
Yeah, second album.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's great. It came out earlier in the year, and was absolutely, until the album of the year that I gave, was my album of the year. Primarily like the first half of the year. Just because it was just the one album that I can listen through. I just put it on, listen to front to back, which is very rare for me on albums. I usually just listen through once and then kind of pick or choose my favorite songs or shuffle it. But yeah, really great stuff. She's one of the best electronic music artists in the Korean scene. And I think, yeah, she's just really great. My favorites on here are Make Me Cry, Your Eyes, which is kind of like a double time techno track. Yeah, that's another thing I love about this album. Like, each song is kind of a different style. It doesn't really keep the same. It's not the same kind of like she does some like very like ballady.
She does switch it up a lot.
Right. Some are like really fast techno songs, or like housey tracks, or even just like a electronic instrumental. But then she has like Melody, which is kind of basically a ballad. So really great stuff. I really hope to see her live one day. I missed my chance when she came through a couple years back. Yeah, so I really want to see her live performance one day, because she's just really great. So yeah, check out this album. It's one of my favorites. Definitely top 5, top 3 of the year, maybe.
Love that. Yeah, it's a really great release. I guess the similarness between the songs for me, I think, is because it's like I could tell it's her style.
Right.
Like there's just some like subtle thread that connects them all together for me. That I'm kind of just like, okay, yeah, this is I know it's her, but she executes it wonderfully, honestly.
Yeah, and that's always great
And
when
then
you have an artist that can do that, where they can try a bunch of different things. Sumin's another great artist that's like that, where you can hear
True.
she does so many different types of types of songs, and genres and stuff like that. But you can always tell it's a Civica song or a Sumin song. So those are always the best artists that can play around, but they still have a signature sound.
Oh yeah, like excellent sound. And now going on to I like to call this the RM alley because RM Clout Alley, because my god, did RM, just for him featuring on a couple on like singles for both of these two album releases, helped drive up the attention to these guys so much, all because of one pop artist. Well, I guess technically he's pop, even though he's a rapper. I know, yada yada yada. But you know, I will say, I am glad he recognizes the attention he gets and is like, you know what? Let's use that attention for good and feature on some other artists that I like, so then people can go listen to their stuff, and then they can hopefully get some more coin and attention. I appreciate that. RM looking out for the other part of the music industry. I appreciate that about RM. So thank you, RM. Thank you. And thank you also, RM, for being one of the better idol rappers in the industry. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you for that. But anyways, the first of these groups would have to be Soyoon herself. Also is the main singer in the band Saesonyeon. Highly recommend that band as well. Please check them out. But we are talking about her. I want to say it's her second album. Sorry. Because I remember her first album was the weird creature baby on the front.
Right.
I remember that. I remember looking at that going, what the hell? This one does not have a weird creature baby on the front album. Don't worry, it's just people sitting in a room near a couch or something, a la, you know, artsy fartsy magazine cover shoot style, you know. It's given that vibe. This is for her second album release, episode 1 ... love, which makes me think that there's probably going to be an episode 2. Watch it be called hate or something else like that. I hope there is an episode 2 of this, because this was just fantastic. Besides, of course, let's just get out of the way. Smoke Sprite, solid track. Great that she got a bunch of success with this. RM did feature. Did RM need to feature? I don't know, but you know what? I don't say it as a bad thing. He was there. He didn't take away from the song though, which is a good thing. Could it be argued that RM needed to be there? I don't know, but you know what? He didn't take away from it. I don't know if he greatly I say this as a big BTS fan, by the way, just to put that out there for people. I don't know if he greatly enhanced the song, but I don't think it wasn't a deterrent for me. So I think he was a solid feature, which, you know, hope for the best. But this was a great track in of itself, and I'm glad Soyoon got a crap ton of a lot more attention out of it. So I'm really happy for her for that. And I actually really do like the track as well. What else do I love in this album? I like Canada a lot. Love in parentheses a secret visitor. Let's see. And I like Bad a lot too as well. I think those are the standouts for me. Again, Soyoon's great. It took me a little bit to make the connection. No, I think it was like either last year or this year I finally made the connection of, oh shit, she's the main lead in Saesonyeon. No wonder why they sound familiar. a little bit slow to the party. Apparently I was on top of Yeren Peck and her band, but I wasn't on top of this one. Embarrassing. But you know, it is what it is. But this is a great album as well. Fantastic. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, just to kind of echo a lot of the same thoughts you had. Is really great. I think some of my favorite tracks on there are Till the Sun Goes Up. That's kind of like almost like a city popish groove type song. And then like you mentioned, Love, featuring Park Ji-yoon, she's an OG. So that was on one of my short list for songs of the year, because I really, really love that one. Just really, really great stuff. Soyoon's just great. Like you said, lead singer of Say So None, which I actually got to see them in concert last year. Finally,
Oh, jealous.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really, really great show. She didn't. I don't think she didn't play much of her own. So I think maybe one of her solo songs, which is cool because it kind of focused more on the band aspect. But yeah, they blew up really crazy. They've been gaining popularity in the last couple of years, but definitely with the RM feature, a lot, and then people learning about Soyun, and then learning, oh dang, she's part of this band. Definitely skyrocketed. So shout out to RM, because even with the show that they played in LA that I went to, they had a smaller venue that sold out like super quick, and then they had to actually get a bigger venue in like downtown Hollywood. So that was really cool.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and when I was like surprised, like when I went to the concert, like the line was around the like going to, like 2 blocks. It was crazy. So definitely, well deserved popularity and attention they're getting. So, but yeah, really great album. Was on my short list for album of the year. And yeah, can't say enough good things about it.
Awesome sauce. All right, and then moving on to the next one of the RM clout influence, we got Bawling Tiger with January Never Dies. Oh, I guess it doesn't. Apparently not. It just keeps going. January just keeps going, apparently. Yeah, Bawling Tiger. Oh my goodness. And I'm pretty sure, again, KME, your fault. In a good way. You posted, I think it was Armadillo, I'm pretty sure. And I was just like, oh shit, what is this? Okay. Bless. I need this was back in like, I want to say 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So this was a while ago too.
Yeah, around there, 2018, 2019.
2018
came out.
Yeah. And I remember I just was hooked on since then, paying attention to Baldwin Tiger and their members and their activities and stuff like that. They've some of the members, the ones that are the like the vocal, I guess you could say, the vocal recording artist members of Baldwin Tiger, because it's a collective. It has they got producers, they got other artists, the vocalists, and they got, probably some other, I'm not quite sure what the other people do, but that's the gist of it. Excuse me. And they finally released a full-length album, and it's great. I love it. I'm happy. It does include the Sexy Nukem single featuring RM. RM also does great on this track. And I like that. I actually think he does help enhance the track in this one. Not because it adds like another type of rapper to the track. And it's just a cool song as well. I like the music video for this. And then and of course there's a couple other singles they released prior that are included in this release. Which one is it? I think it's Trust Yourself in particular. What other songs do I like from here? Booty, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
What else do I like? Riot, Scumbag, and yeah, those are my recommendations. This group features quite a few people. Let's see. There's what's his face? The one with the green hair. There's she left AOMG. Not the one with the green hair. There's the one with the green hair. There's the one that left AOMG. There's is it Mud? What am I thinking? Why am I thinking
Mud
the student?
So
Mud.
Green hair is Omega Sapien.
There we go.
AOMG is she just left AOMG last year. Sogum.
And then Mud the Student. Of course I remember Mud the
yeah.
Student's name. I'm like, Sogroom and Omega Sapien. I'm like, God, I'm losing my mind here today. Great. Forgetting everything.
And then they have another vocalist called BJ Wonjun.
Yes. Yeah. Mud. Yeah, they're all great. They're all fantastic. They really add their different types of personalities and just vocal flares into these releases, and it creates something very unique and I think wonderful.
Yeah, it's really great album. It came out later in the year, like maybe like October or something like that, and yeah, it was on my album of the year shortlist. Just like you said, it's with the RM on there. They definitely got a lot of attention with that. I think that single came out in 2022. But I know it put a lot of eyes on them, and they definitely capitalized on that. They also market themselves as like an alternative K-pop group, which I really love, both in concept and as just like a general marketing technique, because when they do interviews, it's kind of like the headline, like alt K-pop group. So it's pretty genius. They've been pretty genius with all their activities and creative endeavors. Yeah, been a big fan of them since as long as I can remember.
Oh yeah.
Basically, yeah, just they've always done great stuff. They've kind of over the past years they went and a lot of them did their own solo stuff. Sogum at AOMG, Omega Sapien putting out a couple of EPs and singles and whatnot. But this is cool because it's their first studio album that they put out together as a whole collective. So really great. Definitely recommend it. There's like punk rock songs on there. There's Booty Booty is like a fun dance track that just came out with a really cool music video. Yeah, really great from Bombing Tiger. I can't wait to see them do more stuff collective, like as a collective, because individually the parts are really great, and but when they're all put together, it's magical. So really great stuff. Yeah, can't say enough good things about Bombing Tiger.
I know, love them so much. And then actually the next one we got, a final one, is a group that actually is like a music producer that I actually have heard of, but I didn't really dive into this album as much this year, so I'm gonna let you take this one away, KMA.
Sure.
Because I actually like their stuff. They're pretty experimental.
Yeah, they're really dope. So it's Hypnosis Therapy. They're like you said, an experimental kind of electronic hip hop group. Collab between rapper Zhang Yu and producer J Flow. This is their second album. They released their first one in 2022 together, and this is kind of like the follow up. The album's called Psilocybin, and that's like probably a perfect name for the type of music they put out because it's like when you're listening to it, it's like an electronic acid trip. It's like you're feeling mushrooms and shit.
Honestly, that's what it felt like. I'm like, now I understand those people who get high off of mushrooms, finally.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You can see the track list too. You can probably guess from that, but
yeah,
really great. They got Jackie Y as a feature on here.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw that.
That was one of my favorite tracks. They got one of the lead singles called Jongno is probably one of my favorites. Yeah, if you like drum and bass and like techno music, it's really great. Zhang Yu is probably the perfect rapper to be on these tracks because his style is very experimental and just flows. A lot of times when you get electronic music and rap, sometimes they can clash and that doesn't sound right. But it's a perfect marriage between the two sounds. So yeah, check it out if you're feeling adventurous. And their first album was really great too. So if you really like this one, yeah, check them out. Hypnosis Therapy.
All right, and then moving on to our kR&B singles. All right, finally, we got actually a first one of my personal favorites, Moon Soo-jin, Never Let Me Go. Ooh, this was classy. Love that. Love this so much. This was great. It's Moon Soo-jin.
Yeah, really.
I don't have any complaints. I just love practically everything she puts out, whether it's more basic, whether it's not as basic. I just love her stuff. She's great.
Yep. And that's basically what this is. It's a very basic, straightforward R&B song. Never Let Me Go. She put out an English and a Korean version. And I listened to both like really crazy. I think in terms of the R&B stuff, that's on my Last FM numbers. It's my most played track between the two versions. And yeah, she, like you said, great either way. She can make really great simple R&B tracks that sound amazing, and then she can also get really good on like a hip-hop grime or like drum and bass.
Oh yeah, she's great on those tracks. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's just like all around just great talent. I'm waiting for her to put out like at least a full. I think she only releases like singles and double singles. And, like,
she did one EP. She did a couple singles. I don't know if it's her label that's being really stringent, or maybe she's just tough on herself with the music. Who knows? Either or. Because where is she on? Is she under still like what is it? Mirror, not Mirror Ball. What am I thinking? Who is
Million?
it?
She
Million
was
Market. There we go.
Yeah, Million Market, which is like. I think pretty much a dead label now.
I think they're under still SM, if I'm not mistaken. So I wonder if the SM influence is kind of like.
Yeah, you can. I think that's definitely a part because I know a lot of artists have left that label, and then I noticed that her last couple of releases don't have Million Market as a thing. So, but there was never an announcement, and she still shows up on their like page. I'm not sure how that's working, but hopefully she gets out because like another artist that was on there, Giselle. She's another great R&B
she's
singer.
fantastic, Giselle.
She finally left, and she's been putting out a lot more music now too. And I remember her specifically saying that the label was kind of. She's like, I got songs. It's just the labels kind of. I'm waiting on them. So hopefully she releases like a full length album this year. I would really like to see that from Moon.
Yeah, labels can be tricky sometimes. Like, they don't sometimes let you release tracks for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, do you want the artist to put out the music to make a profit? Like, what's the concern here, you know? I don't know. Maybe they don't have the money. I don't know. I know, it's weird. Alright, moving along. We got Hyejin. I've seen this movie before. I think it's Hyejin. Sorry, Hyejin.
Yeah, Hyejin. She's basically an independent artist. She's a student at NYU. So she's really young.
Love that.
Like 19, 20 years old, and she's just putting out this whole last year. She put out an EP, a bunch of singles and collaborations with like fellow students at NYU. And I believe she is Korean, but she's I don't know if she grew up in the States and is going to school now. But yeah, really great. She did her thing. I discovered her actually on TikTok because she's really great at marketing herself on there, and using like social media as a tool to promote herself. And yeah, she was my the KME best new artist because I just really loved her music. This song in particular was my favorite and one of my most listened to because it's kind of like a 90s R&B kind of type ballad that's just like pianos and guitar solos in there. Just a really great track. She has a really nice voice that's very soft and subtle, but has a power to it. And yeah, I really love her stuff. It's just, so I definitely can't recommend her enough.
Yeah, I gotta dig into more of her stuff because she's pretty talented. I enjoy her the couple singles I've heard so far from her. But someone who he always gotta pop up somewhere whenever there's R&B. We have Jay Park with Candy featuring Zion T, a name I have not heard in a hot minute. Where has he been? Set up a new label, I guess. But it makes sense, I guess. Label collective, I'm not quite sure. Whatever is Best Friends is, it's a label, I think, technically, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think technically
yeah.
Market as like a collective, like Standard Friends is called.
Oh, Standard Friends, sorry. Standard Friends. But yeah. Only Standard Friends.
Yeah, it's Candy, Jay Park. Yeah, like you said, Jay Park's always an omnipresent figure in just Korean music in general, just because, whether you like it or not, he's just huge and super influential. I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff he put out recently, since he stepped away from AOMG and started More Vision, has not. It's kind of like he was trying to recapture the old glory days of like the R&B and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so it wasn't working. He's working with Cha-Cha Malone still, and doing that. So they're good songs, but it just kind of wasn't hitting. But when this one came out, man, this one actually hit that feeling of like old Jay Park.
Oh yeah.
And I learned in a podcast, I can't remember which one he did, but he mentioned that this song was actually recorded in like 2017, 2018.
Oh, that's wild. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense because it has that feeling from back there. But yeah, just a really cool dance track. My absolute highlight on it is, like you said, the Zion T. When he comes in, it just, oh man, that absolutely makes the song. But really fun, yeah. Great. Had a lot of great, stuff on social media with the dance challenges and all that. I had what's her name from Yua from Oh My Girl in the music video. Which is
gotta
great.
love Oh My Girl. I love Oh My Girl.
Right. So it's just overall a really fun track. I enjoyed it. I listened to the hell out of it. So shout out Jay Park. I know he's a controversial figure for some people, but
I mean, he puts his foot in his mouth sometimes on the internet, like some other celebrities do. I mean, what's new?
Right. And I think he's definitely I think he's definitely gotten a lot better, but he is in this last couple years just kind of focusing on doing his company and music and like soju stuff. But that, his reputation precedes him before that. So, but yeah, really great song. I'm sure. And I saw a lot of people even saying with this one, they were like, and his other track called Y, which is like very Afrobeat centric. And a lot of people were just like, yeah, I hate Jay Park, but I can't lie, this song's good.
I mean, love him or hate him, he has greatly helped out, especially with, I think, the R&B side. In terms of a lot of the artists I know have been because of his AOMG label. And then of course, whatever the heck's going on with Higher Music at the moment, a lot of the artists from there, and also the hip hop artists from there and AOMG, I've still greatly known, thanks to Jay Park creating a label for them to at least attempt to flourish. Not quite sure how it's going over at Higher Music, but that's another discussion for another day. But but yeah, he left a legacy.
Yeah.
And yeah, moving on to the next one, we have I think you pronounce it as Gani. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah, Gunny. I guess you could say Gunny.
Maybe.
Yeah. She's a singer. On a label called In Planet Music. She just signed there last year. I gave In Planet my label of the year. Just really, really nice kind of mellow indie-ish type R&B from all the artists on there. But she's one of my favorites. I've consistently said that this past year that she's one of my absolute favorite vocalists in the scene. She posts a lot of videos on like TikTok and Instagram too. Which is, I guess, a theme for me this past year. But yeah, she's really great.
You're just hanging a lot on TikTok now and Instagram. That's like your sole social.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's kind of like the new place to discover, artists and stuff like that. So,
fair enough. Yeah, snippet, little mini snippet clips help, I guess, with the consumption of all that, which makes sense. It's understandable. So
right. Yeah, and then when you get artists like her or like I was talking before with Hagen that really know how to make good content but also stay true to like making good music, I think it works perfectly. So she's one of those. And this song is just it did mini kind of blow up, like I said, with her going a little viral and within the kR&B, and I guess dipped into the K-pop TikTok scene. But yeah, she's really great. Definitely check her out. I think she will be doing a lot of great things in the coming years. So yeah, Gunny is stylized as G, and then like the O is like a 0, and then N and Y.
I mean, it helps probably with the search feed, so that's fair.
Right.
And there's another name I haven't heard in a while. We got Shinseha.
Yeah,
I think.
Shinseha.
I remember his feature in I think it was Your Home, and that's Sumin's song.
Yep.
I prefer his feature a lot in that song. Some people, I don't know how others feel, but like I liked his feature a lot in that song. I'll be honest, haven't really listened to too much of his stuff outside of that, but I always did like his voice in that song, and I'm like, I definitely need to check out more of his stuff. But I see, like, slump off of his stuff this year.
Yeah, it was one of his singles that came out this last year. I think he released it through 8 Ball Town, the label, which is, I don't think he signed there, but I think he kind of had like a deal to release. They distributed his music and stuff like that. Yeah, like you said, Shinseha, really great voice, kind of silky, a little bit of raspy, but very, very sexy, I'd say. And he's normally a electronic based R&B type artist, and does a lot of like groovy, like disco funk stuff. And this one is basically just a straight up like disco track. So really fun, really great to listen to, and really great to listen to, and yeah, just it was one of those songs that once it came out, I put it on my daily rotation playlist, and it just never. It's still on there, and I still, when it comes up, I never skip it. So if you're into like disco fun stuff, that definitely right up your alley.
Nice. And then couple from my neck of the woods. First off, we got surprise newbie, I'd say relatively newbie. We got Suin with Ripple Effect, which I think features Palo Alto, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna double check that.
Yeah.
Yes, Palo Alto. Surprise, big surprise. I was just like, oh, where the hell did you come from? Hi, how are you? Fantastic. I was hooked, line, sinker in immediately. Loved it. And I mean, the fact that she was able to get Palo Alto to feature already. Connections, girl, connections. Love it. Love that. I think she might be under the Grooveland label, which we may or may not talk about that later. So hopefully Grooveland is still being run smoothly. That's all I'm gonna say right there. We'll get into that later. But otherwise, she is such a nice, promising new artist. I am so excited to see what else she got coming out the door, and Ripple Effect is a great introduction to that. Next, we got, because I'm basic, DeVito, Ride For Me. Oh my god, I love this. This was hot. I was like, give me that. It was like giving fun SZA vibes. I was like, yes, let's go, DeVita. Work it. I know some people weren't as hot on her EP, but to be fair, when you come out with an EP like Evita, and then follow up with another great EP, you know, it's gonna be hard to please everyone. Let's be real here. And I think some people feel like the Grey influence may be affecting her a little bit, but I think Ride For Me was great. And I will tell you this, Sammy likes this song. Sammy likes this song. I'm just putting that out there. When I created my list for our year-end awards, she was like, "Oh, I like this." I'm like, "Yeah, she's great." I like that.
That's awesome.
I love it. I'm like, "Yes, Sammy, we did it. I got her to like a song." So if Sammy likes it, that's how you know it's knee slapper approved. That's not official, but we're just making that up on the spot. So I'm glad. I was really happy with that. But yeah, this is a fun little like boss bitch anthem, I'd say. You know, she commands it. She loves it. She's doing it. She's like, Ride For Me. And I'm like, yes. Gladly. Yeah. All right. Moving along. From Jerd, we have a single, Blondie. It's Jerd. Jerd's great. We're going to talk more about Jerd's album, Bomb. But yeah, Blondie's a great single. I really love that song. It's fantastic. I don't know what else to say, but I like Jerd's style. And I'm glad Jerd's still getting a lot of attention even after the disbandment of a certain label, which we may or may not get into. Or did it happen in 2022? I forget. I think that didn't that happen in 2022?
2022, I think.
It was 2022.
Yeah.
Either way, glad she's still putting out stuff. But all right, moving on. Albums and EPs from the R&B scene that we loved, starting with what I could give my Artist of the Year, Hoodie, for the album Sailing. Hoodie, love her. She's just great. Such iconic R&B tracks. Just, chef's kiss. Amazing, incredible, spectacular, awesome. No one else could come. Can come and compare to herself. No, I'm kidding. There's still a lot of great stuff out there, but it's Hoodie. Hoodie is still, I say, the queen of AOMG. She was the first girl that they decided to add onto the label. She's been there. She's done that. She came back with Sailing. The whole album's great. I don't know what else to say except it's fantastic. I loved it. Made her my Artist of the Year. KME, what are your thoughts?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this is definitely like if I gave out R&B album of the year, this would be it. It was definitely along with my album of the year and Civica was probably in the top 3 of favorite albums of 2023. But yeah, like you said, it's just really great. She's kind of just doing her Hoodie thing. Really great vocals, great beat selection. A lot of great production on this one too. From Cha Cha, we got Jinbo, the Super Freak, featuring and producing like 3 tracks. I want to say Dowell and No Air and Planet as their little collective producer group is on there, and I want to say Somdef. Somdef is another great Korean producer. So really great stuff. My favorite track, I gotta say, it was almost my song of the year as well. So Good to Me, produced by Jimbo, is like a 80s New Jack Swing, proto New Jack Swing, Janet Jackson type song. Oh my god, just that one, when that came on,
you say New Jack Swing, I'm like, I'm here. I don't care how bad it is, I'm here. It's like City Pop. I'm like, I'm here.
Exactly, yeah. And this one it does it perfectly. It sounds like it could have come out in like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. So,
love it.
Yeah, just really great stuff. And it's also, I love that it's kind of her album that's just kind of showing how she's matured over the years and where she's at in life. The lead single on it is called Lonely, and it's just talking about how she's content with, you know, where she's at and who she is, and she doesn't really need anyone. That's the kind of the theme of the song, is that she's not lonely because she's happy with herself. So really love that theme that kind of goes throughout the album. Yeah, really great stuff. Can't say, you know, anything much more besides, yeah, amazing
incredible,
like
awesome,
always.
Spectacular.
Right.
Just keep the accolades, keep whatever that. I love quoting or attempting to quote that Lady Gaga interview meme, essentially,
Right.
which basically is. But that's how I feel. That is how I feel. Moving on to another favorite, personal favorite, Sumin. Oh my god, not to be confused with Sunmi, also fantastic for the most part. But Sumin, oh my god, love her to death, love her to bits. Glad she got to put out an EP this year, because I was like, for a hot minute I thought she was only doing singles. She did do one with Wu that I really liked. I don't know if I probably forgot to put it on there, but Best Friends I think it is. Also like that one. Yeah. But she put out an EP also called Tsuchimi, I think is how you say it. Tsuchimi?
I think so, yeah. Sounds right.
I'm gonna hope with that. We're trying with the pronunciations here, you know. We are trying, we are putting effort. This was a nice solid little EP. Closet I like a lot because Junhwa is an icon pop star and you must know her name from First Gen. So check her out and her music out. Iconic. Just for the pop side, just for the pop of that. But great feature. Also, what else did I like? Also great to see Sonu Jana on there. A great artist of herself. So good. Human Theater. Yeah, this is just solid EP all around. Also, this is probably one. No, she's featured herself on the cover before. Yes, this is like the first one. I'm just like, oh my god, she's featuring all of herself on the cover. Amazing. But yeah, nah, they're great. It's Sumin. I don't know what else to say besides it's Sumin. Check her out. I love her.
Perfect. Yeah.
Pretty much. But yeah, unless you have anything to say on Sumin, KME.
I mean, yeah, just like I said, like you said, Sumin, so she's always, you know, gonna do something great. One thing I maybe would point out is that she on Instagram she posts a lot of her playing like a bass, and you can definitely hear that those bass lines influence in here, because she does all her own production and all that stuff too. So yeah, just really great. I actually gave this EP my release of the year award, which is I kind of give to the non-studio album for like EPs, mixtapes, and compilations and stuff like that. So, yeah, one of my favorite artists, if not my top 5 in there. So anything she puts out, I'm automatically gonna love. But this one's definitely warranted, you know, the praise and the love.
Yeah,
really great stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we got next, like I said earlier, Jerd with Bomb. It's Jerd. Jerd was a great talent coming out of Highlight, still is, obviously, but Highlight Records is dead in the DOA. Not dead on arrival. Actually, I lie. Sorry, that's rude. They're now closed. Run acronym for that, but great studio. They were a great studio, but now they're shut down because I guess Palo Alto realized how hard it is to run a label, I assume, and just wants to go back to doing music stuff, which is fair, honestly. Fair enough. But yeah, Jerd was one of the great newer artists who signed on to that label, along with, like, in my personal opinion, Swervy. Swervy's great too as well. Highly recommend checking out Swervy's music. But Jerd, I'm glad Jerd got to put out a long-awaited, nice, lovely, full-length album. It's fantastic. Again, because why else are we putting it here on our list? It's fantastic. Just love her tone, love her voice, love the kind of music she puts out. Not much else to say there on my end, but yeah.
Yeah, really great. Was on my album of the year shortlist as well. Yeah, like you said, she's just always this great. This is a great follow-up to her previous album, which is called Amp. A lot of like electronic R&B. Like it's almost hard to classify this as a purely R&B album, because she just does so much different stuff, and like, you know, even her singing style kind of can lean into a rapish rapping type of singing. But I can only see this. It was like the front runner for R&B album of the year, I think, for the K hip-hop awards. So I think it'll definitely do well there. Yeah, just really great stuff from Jerd. So she's also, side note, she's also like a really cool DJ. And I listened to a few of her mixes. Like she performed online and streams, and yeah, she does really great. Nothing like her own music she makes is a straight up like techno hard hard.
I didn't realize she was a DJ,
stuff.
but that makes sense. No wonder why that's how she's keeping busy. Okay, but that's cool that she's experimenting like that though. Yeah,
it's really crazy. So I'm like, oh, I hope maybe she experiments with those sounds one day, but even just like no vocals, just production wise. But yeah, really great stuff. Love Jerd. So
yeah, I love that. I love Jerd. But yeah, let's see. We also have, I'm gonna do these back to back because the order of them is weird, but a couple Ocean of the Blue projects. Who is the lovely artist that did like my tweet once. Thank you, Ocean from the Blue. You have a great voice. Period. Without any, it's just so good. He just sounds lovely. We have his first project, which is, oh my god, it's titled Ocean from the Blue. Oh, love that. Straight to the point. Definitely the more R&B of his R&B projects, I would say, of the year. Just more of his, I don't want to say traditional R&B, but more of like a classic R&B Korean style sound of it and vibes. And he just sounds wonderful in it. Again, another Sonu Jonna feature. Damn, she's working on these features this year. I love to see her keep popping up. Close to You is really nice. I like Past Life. Scent is really good. I like Peter Pan. Yeah, good solid release album. To start off the year, right? And then we also have his new R&B era, which he definitely decides to go into the more R&B, hip-hop, sometimes trap vibes. Yeah, he's like let's go that route too, but as a whole project in of itself. So that was great to listen to because I'm just like, yes, let's go. Ooh, work it. Oh, I'm so happy about that. He has stuff with, was it Duty, I think is how you say it, assuming the 2 is pronounced as an E, with Swoosh, Cliche, Bruce Lee Flow, Talk to Me, like, just solid album release, and it's totally my vibe. Love his voice. It's amazing. It's like honey. Just love it all around. But yeah.
Yeah, these are both really great, and kind of like you said, they're really cool. 2 ends of the spectrum on the R&B sound. I very much preferred and listened to more of the self-titled album that came out earlier in the year. My favorite track from there is a song called Open Your Mind, which is just a straight up very classic style R&B song that's like very sensual, I guess you could say. But really great stuff. That one is definitely more, I guess, pop friendly, that album. And then like you said, with new R&B, I really like that one too. I didn't listen to it as much, but it definitely gets more into the hip-hop side of R&B. He's rapping on there, which I actually enjoy when he raps. Some people I don't think prefer that, but I like it. I think he's decent enough at it.
Exactly. It's like, if you're good enough, go ahead. Kind of like Jay Park a little bit. It's like, if you're good enough, you know what? Go ahead, have some fun. If not, then don't try.
Yeah, really great. And he's been one of my favorite R&B artists for the last few years. If I'd say definitely check these out if you haven't heard them. And the good thing about it is, if you like him, he's a workhorse. He puts out a lot of projects, like multiple albums every year, EPs. So there's a lot of backlog you can go to. So definitely check these out. And there's, like I said, there's a plethora of content that you can go back to all the way to like 2018 when I first heard him. So yeah, really great stuff.
All right, and then we got one more, which I think I will let you take the floor on this one, because this one I didn't check out as much, to be fair, so I don't really have much to say, except I trust your opinion on it, and it's probably good, and I should look into it soon.
Yeah, so this one is a small album from 8-Ball Town, one of my favorite labels.
Oh yeah, 8-Ball Town, yeah, that's gonna be good.
yeah, DJ producer Hookyo, I want to say is how you say it. and then a singer named Jui. She is not new, but I think she really kind of put out a lot more stuff this year than in previous years. So they collabed on this. I just really like 8 Ball Town's one of my favorite labels, and they put out a lot of like retro inspired stuff, like 80s, 90s hip hop, R&B. This one is very much R&B, different styles. There's like even like a bossa nova type acoustic song in I want to say "See You in a Dream." There's like old school R&B 80s ballads. Smile Anthem is the name of the album. I didn't mention that, but also the name of the title track, which is kind of like a almost reggae ska style track. And yeah, just the production's great. Jugi has a really nice, really great voice, and she has a lot of good stuff on her own. But yeah, them coming together on this one, I really enjoyed it. I know it's probably not something that a lot of people would even come across, so I definitely wanted to highlight here. I did put it on my album of the year shortlist, and yeah, just definitely check it out if you like kind of retro style, classic R&B, and stuff like that. So yeah, called Smile Anthem by Hookyo and Jui.
I love. I actually really got in. I was really bigger into listening to 8 Ball Town earlier, like not this year, but a couple years ago. I gotta swoop back into that because 8 Ball Town, they put out some good like retro sounding stuff and R&B and stuff like that. But yeah, that moving along to finally the hip hop section, the one people probably have the most to say and are curious about. A lot of my stuff was all stuff that I recommended album-wise. But as for a couple singles I listened to this year, we'll start off with Grr, which is a Spotify single that I really liked as a nice little workout anthem, essentially, by Jimmy Page, Blase, Blacknut, Doki, and Smugglers. Which I'm pretty sure Smugglers are the producers, I think, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Wild Black Nut appearance. I haven't heard from him in a hot minute, so that's cool. Doki's still alive and well. He's still putting out music. Blase, I mean, considering this is a drill beat, I mean, Blase showing up is not a shocker. And he got some popularity, I think, off of his recent Show Me the Money appearance. Jimmy Page, I haven't delved into too much Jimmy Page stuff, but he's a solid rapper. Very much a hype song. I like to listen to some hype hip-hop when, trying to focus or do work or work out or stuff like that. So this was slid into that category very well. And I like big, like, collabs like this too, a lot of the time. But yeah. And then there's also, speaking of, like, exciting, fast-paced rap to listen to, Punchnello. Very good at that. He is very good at that. He has that on pat. And with single Riot this year. That was fun. That was so much fun. I was just like, you go, Punchnello. Yeah! Give it to me, Punchnello. Burn that shit. Love it. Loot. Actually, don't vandalize things. Don't loot. That's rude. Especially to small businesses, people. Do not do that. But if you want to get that energy pumping, especially when you're doing some fun workout activities or whatever else you need to get hyped for, this is your song. It's great. Punchnello kills it. He spits fire. He might as well be a dragon at this point. Conveniently, it's the year of the dragon this year, so what do you know? Love that. Yeah, it's just great. Hype track. I bounced over those two, but in case you wanted to say anything on either of those, Kami.
Yeah, with Punchnello, he's always great, like you said, with those like really hype tracks. It's really cool because he has that style to him, and then he also has, I think he released an EP also where it's more of his slower, introspective, like lovey-dovey stuff. So he does those pretty crazy, how he can switch between those two modes. Yeah, this one's great, produced by Will Not Fear, who's a really cool electronic house music producer, does work with Untel a lot. And he's just,
so about to say always... that makes complete sense now.
yeah so Untel's one of those rappers
yeah,
that can just slide on those beats. So
yeah,
really cool. Can't say much else about Punchnello because he's great. For the Gura song, I didn't really listen to that one much. I limit my drill sound.
You get too much drill
consumption.
everywhere. It's like there's Central
Yeah.
C, we have Ice Spice and whatever the hell's going on in New York, and now we have K-pop.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's fair.
with Blaze, I think, or Blase, I don't know how.
Blase Blaze, there's an accent mark somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he even himself goes through both, but
Yeah.
This was part of, like you said, the Spotify singles, which is a really cool thing they did this year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, none of the tracks really took off, but it was just a cool kind of experiment where Spotify was working with Korean hip hop artists and producers and kind of mishmashing different, very random, like this one too is like Blaze, Silky Boys, and then Doki, which is like really random, and then Smugglers.
Oh, it is Silky Boys, Jimmy Page, and Black Nut. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Them together. I don't know why I guess they put him as single artists on here too. But yeah, that was a really cool thing. But I really liked checking those out, and they had like little videos of the production stuff. And yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about both those.
All right. And then moving along, we got some big hits. Couple of these I've listened to. Mainly the Benzino and the Little Mars one. The other few, I think you could probably take the page on those, because I don't think I listened to the VMC one, even though I probably should have. I think I missed a couple of these. But Benzino, we'll probably discuss more too about Benzino and his long-awaited return. Finally, praise Jesus. Or whatever the hell you're into. Just lovely to hear Benzino back again. I'm just so happy he's back. Even and then he'll be gone for a while, probably again too, because but he's back for now. And it's just great to hear him. And oh god, yeah, he's just great. This track is great. I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
I don't know what
really
to say,
great stuff. The songs, like you said, been a while. We'll talk about the album, I'm sure, soon. But this track in particular on the album, Nowitzki. The song is called 990, featuring a rapper named Kim Shimya and then song is obviously by Benzino. Just a really dope rap track. Thing with the album is that it plays with a lot of different sounds and genres, but this one is one of the straight up just hip hop rap tracks. One verse each. Beat is really dope, and I like the kind of the concept of the thing of the track. 990 kind of plays a different role in each of their verses. Benzino's verse is kind of more referencing like the New Balance shoe 990 New Balance, because he's very much into fashion and doing his travel stuff. So he's kind of like his verse I think is more talking about like his walking, the things he did while wearing those shoes, like a walk in his shoes, essentially.
That makes sense.
Kind of like that. That's where the 990 plays into his. And then Kim Shimya's a little more, he's a little more conscious of like social political stuff. So his is, I think, based around the highest score you can get in this like Korean English proficiency test. I think they do. 990 is like the top score you can get on there, so he kind of relates to that, and plays with that, and is talking about whether like one of his first lines is like, oh, I should have went to law school, because that's a big thing for Kim Shimya as more considered an underground rapper, even though recently he's done a lot of stuff like writing for New Jeans and in the past has written for a lot of K-pop artists, but yeah, he just talks about kind of like trying to make money as like an artist. That's pretty hard. So, and maybe dealing with like thinking of doing stuff in normal life. So really dope track. It was one of my favorites on the album. So
yes, it's great. It's also just, we'll get into it more a little bit, but like Benzino being back, I'm just so happy. And then the next several, KME, you can take the floor, because I don't have much to say, except I've heard of Raccon and I've heard of VMC. Definitely aware of VMC. They have a lot of the more, I think that's like the hub of well-known underground rappers is VMC. So, they'll be great, and I definitely should check them out. But of course life's been busy. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Cool. Yeah, I'll go through them like too quickly. I'll try to go through them quickly. The first one is called "Don't Like," and it's by an artist group called Bad At, which is a new kind of crew, featuring rapper Ugly, who's a new rapper on the scene that's fairly new. He's been around a couple years. It's him. It's a rapper named Odie, who was part of
Oh
VMC
yeah,
as
I know
well.
Odie.
Yeah, and then the producer Holiday, that was formerly of VMC as well. They kind of, this is bad at is like a short for bad attitude, which very much fits Odie and Oigly's rap style. They're very kind of I don't want to say like hard, but like I don't know, they're very in your face kind of, but very smooth, like in a cool way. So the song is called "Don't Like," and it's kind of like they're talking about obviously like shit they don't like,
Yeah.
and like the other rappers and stuff like that do. So really cool track. They released a little EP with like 4 tracks. I know the crew is kind of a bigger thing, kind of like Bombing Tiger or maybe DPR, where there's rappers, there's visual artists, there's producers, kind of like that. I'm not sure on the other management stuff, so I'm not sure exactly what all of them do, but the core 3 right here on this track with the producer Holiday and Oigly and Odie, really great stuff. One of my favorite drops of the year. Moving on to the VMC song, it's called Ninth Wonder. We'll probably talk about it later, but VMC disbanded last year at the beginning of the year as a label. So this was kind of, they released a 4-track EP as their last release as a label, and kind of featured all the artists and producers that were on there. And this is the last song on there, and it's called Ninth Wonder because that was kind of the theme of they went 9 years, so they disbanded on their 9th anniversary. And yeah, this one's really cool, produced by the amazing Freddie Casso, I believe, and who just did insane stuff this year, released like production on like 16 to almost like nearly 20 projects this year, or 2023 last year. And yeah, it's just really cool, kind of a cool send away for the label, with every single rapper having a verse on there, and ending with Deep Flow, of course, who is the head of that label. Yeah, and then for the next one, we have a song called Way Home 2 by Raycon. Kind of a newer guy. I barely started listening to him last year. This one is just a really fun. He's really good at doing the melodic hooks.
Oh yeah.
And kind of, yeah, like the melodic style rapping, but not like sing rapping. Yeah, just I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. It was just one of those songs that I just really loved and had on repeat. I know he got some big praise from rapper Bill Stacks, kind of praising him as like basically an artist that can do any style, any genre, and I think that's very evident in his little EP that he released this year. But yeah, this one was one of my favorites. And then to go on to the last one, very much a song is called Rap Lesson, and it's by artist collab between rapper Lila Mars, NSW Yoon, and a rapper named Street Baby, and it features a rapper named Skinny Brown. A very goofy.
Just say Lil Mars and Skinny Brown in a song, I'm gonna listen.
Right, yeah, they're really good at doing the fun melodic stuff.
Yeah,
and this one with NSW and Street Baby on there, they're kind of more trappy. NSW has kind of made his bones on doing like a lot of the drill shit that came out. He came out on Show Me the Money 11, I want to say, and made a name for himself. But yeah, it's just a goofy ass song. Like that kind of the conceit is like, where they're giving a rap lesson on the ABCs of rap. The music video is really goofy. It has I can't remember his name, but the guy from P-Sick University in there, and they're like trying to teach him how to rap, like how to be a rapper, and just I don't know. It's one of those songs that I really enjoyed, and I nominated it for Song of the Year on the KHA, the K Hip Hop Awards too. So yeah, it's kind of a fun. one of those fun hip hop tracks that you just turn your brain off and just enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just a fun
So,
one. It's a time. It's melodic. It hits all the beats that I like when I want to have basic rap. I love it.
right,
It's not
right.
that basic. I would say it's that basic, but like it's fun. I like it a lot. But moving on to finally the albums. A lot of them conveniently are the same. It's almost as if there's just like a top 5 or 6 or something that we all just collectively agree on. Like, yep, these are it. Nothing else compares. I just like that. I'm just like, yep, everything aligns. Love that. Yeah, which we can also get into maybe why that's the case later on. But to start off with, of course, we gotta bring up Benzino again because Benzino's back! Yay! Oh my god. Miss Benzino. But now finally for his full album, now with Ski. Which I think features his wife on the cover when she was in her much younger years, living wherever in Germany or wherever she was living, where she grew up. Because I think she's from Germany, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
But yeah. Which did he get married this year, or was it last year he got married?
I want to say 2022.
Okay, so it was a couple of years ago. Sorry, last year is 2023, so I have to stop thinking like that. But yay, this is wife on the cover. Love that. Love it. Be like, hey, here's wifey. I don't know. I'm assuming she's a teenager in this one. That or like very young adult, just became an adult, I'm assuming. But yeah. Anyways, fantastic album. Just exactly what I needed from a Benzino album. Honestly, just exactly what I needed. It's great. Oh god, what was the one I highlighted? Camp. Camp, I think, is the one. That's the military one with the military music video. Which I was just like, damn, doesn't this hit home? Really like that one. What else did I enjoy a lot? 990 is good. In Bed, Makuli, I think is how you say it. Let's see. Coca-Cola Red's good. Like a Fool. Yeah, there's a lot here. There's a lot that's good. A lot of great stuff. Which I'm just like, yay, he was cooking. And in the best way possible, he was cooking. Oh,
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, really great. It's very much a bias here for me because
yeah, you love him.
Yeah, Benzino's like my favorite rapper in Korean hip hop as well, and that always has been. And it was just great to finally get an album from him. Like literally, I was saying earlier, I celebrated 7 years of doing K-Music every day, and I started in 2016, end of 2016, and his last album came out in 2016 in the summer, the album 12. So this is the first time I've ever covered a Benzino album as KME, which is it's crazy.
Insanity, and I love 12. I love 12 so much. Oh my god, it was just like wild because he was also again one of the earlier acts I got into. I don't know if it was you that recommended it or I just kind of discovered it. I think it might have been because of Born Hater. I think it was Born Hater, or either or right before Born Hater was when I discovered him kind of on my own, and like. Yeah, that was great. He's just great. He also just gets the boys in Korea going. I swear, people love his shit so much. It's so good.
And he's one of those rappers that kind of he can touch all worlds. He's very much well respected in the hip hop scene in Korea as well, but is very popular and well known. I'm sure with your guys' audience, so this is very K-pop centric. Like Epic High, Born Hater. I'm sure a lot of people.
Oh yeah, we put Epic High on a list of. We included it in a list of great K-pop songs, even though technically speaking it's not K-pop, but it does feature K-pop idols in the song, who are great idol rappers in their own right, or at least very good idol rappers that we have no qualms against. So so like that's not something that at least I know Sammy at least likes that one a lot. I mean I think Kayla does too. We just collectively agree like this is great. This is a great crossover track. But no, it's so good to hear Benzino back in his element. Just oh my so awesome. God, goes.
So, with this album, really great. It's I'd sit here all day if I could go through every track by itself. We can do that all day, but everything's great. Like you said, Camp's a great one. The cool thing with this album is that he basically set it up as kind of like a diary. So each song is kind of
Mm-hmm.
like an entry in the diary of his life from the last time we've seen him, and him coming back from the military and getting married and all that stuff. So, like you mentioned earlier, his wife is on the cover of both the regular and special editions of the
Oh.
album, and so she very much is she's basically the muse that goes throughout this whole album.
Oh yeah.
So she plays definitely an important part. There's a song called "Crime" that's like about his first date with her, in bed, and Makali is kind of a song about their relationship, and then a lot of the last few tracks are very much inspired by her. And he actually was even saying that the original name of the album was going to be Stephanie, but he realized that would be a bad idea because like if people didn't like the album, they would be like, oh, like I hate Stephanie. Stephanie sucks.
He's like, you know what? Let's
So
not put her on the spot like that. You know?
right.
Let's
So
just not, just in case.
Nowitzki, like you said, you mentioned she's German. She's a model
Yes.
from Germany that kind of came up and worked in Korea. And so Nowitzki is a German, I believe, born basketball player who was very famous in the NBA.
Yeah,
And
that
so
makes
he kind of
sense.
took those. Yeah, he idolized Nowitzki, Dirk Nowitzki as a kid, and kind of he's German, so that's kind of like a weird connection with his wife. So that's why he came and named the album that.
Also makes me wonder. So I guess I wonder if he knows German, because I imagine they probably communicate in English for sure. And I imagine she must have learned some Korean along the way. But I wonder if he's learned German since then. He must have,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, I wonder. At least a bit. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I know they mainly communicate in English together. I think because Benzino did spend some time in New Zealand, I believe, with his dad when
Oh, that would do
his
it.
parents. Yeah, his parents split up, so he's pretty fluent in English. So
That makes sense,
but
because I'm
yeah,
about to say, I'm like, I wonder how good her Korean. I would hope it's probably. I imagine it's probably gotten better since she's been in Korea. But I imagine going to Korea for the first time, Korean's probably wasn't her strongest suit. But I know that in Germany they do teach English very well. So, but yeah.
right.
But more tangents
Yeah,
of that. Benzino, great album, love it.
yeah,
Um,
amazing.
yeah. Moving along. Kid Millie. Ah, another favorite of mine. Beige. He is back. He is at it again. Just doing his shit. All good shit. I love me Honda. Honda was probably my favorite out of this whole EP. I mean, sorry, album. Jeez, not EP, album. Let's see. I like Coop as well. Let's see here. Bora's good. Oh, he had a BI feature, RIP. Yeah, just solid track filled with that Kid Millie flow that I love. He's a banger. There are definitely some good bangers on here, especially Honda. Honda, it's a great banger. Yeah, it's Kid Millie. What can I say? I love him. I love him. I think you introduced Kid Millie to me as well, and again, no regrets.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure. I think it was what the fuck boys hang out in the net, and I was just like, what?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
What? That was a while ago. That was like 2018, 2017, I think, or maybe even earlier. But that was great. I remember hearing that first time. I was like, what the hell's going on? But I'm like, this is bang.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. Like you said, it's Kid Millie, so he always puts out really good stuff. It's his first solo album. He did do a collab album with Dress in like 2021 during the pandemic. That was very different from his normal stuff. But this one,
Oh
yeah, back to
yes.
normal Kid Millie. Really banging production. You mentioned Honda was really cool. Very much leans into the electronic aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Twirl is probably my favorite. I really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Very bass heavy, kind of really hits type of rap track. But even in here, he's got like boom bap stuff. He even kind of a ragey Playboy Cardi type song with 25 featuring Yang Hangwan, formerly
Oh
Young
yeah.
B. Yeah, just really great stuff. I really like too that he had the interludes of the like Lee Lamar's interlude.
Oh
PH
yeah.
starts off. The whole album starts off with a Ron interlude. Ron is another.
He's collaborated with Ron quite a few times, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So.
I
Oh,
think
and I
he's
love the Dress album too. The Dress album, the one he did with Dress is great. Oh my god.
Yeah, Yeah, cliche, definitely. Yeah, that
cliche.
amazing.
Not
really,
a cliche,
really
I will tell you that. It's definitely not a cliche, which is ironic, but
yeah,
maybe it's cliche that he would collab with a producer like Dress. I don't know, but it's still great. But yeah,
right.
Beige is great. True to form, true to hit back to his form, but just fantastic. Oh, so good. And then moving on to probably a legend, a mother effing legend. Still has what is considered to be the best album of all time. This now is his third album. Esens with, if I'm going to say this correctly, Chogumton.
Yep.
I think is how you say it.
Yep.
Oh god, it's great to hear a legend come back. He's back. He got out of, apparently he left Bana, I think. Did he leave Bana before dropping this?
Yeah.
Okay, he did. Okay. He left Bana, which is, is Benzino used to be under Bana too, I think. Everyone's leaving Bana now, apparently. I don't know.
No, but Benzino, he signed there 2021, I want to say.
Oh, okay, so
2021
he's still...
or 2022. Yeah, so he released
them.
he released Nowitzki under Bana as well, but
okay, he's still with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Esens really like literally just left like a few months before Nowitzki came out, and then dropped this one two weeks after Nowitzki came out. So it's like crazy that we got both Benzino and Esens back, like basically back to back.
Oh my god!
In the same year,
insanity. Yeah, Esens is fantastic. I mean, he just puts out great music. Just, you see why his album from like 2015 was #1. I think through this album in particular, it's just fantastic music. Like what the hell? He even has a track with Benzino. He has a track with Doki as well. That's another throwback. Has a track with Uneducated Kid. See, Poured Up, I like Gas. Ayo, just no blah. It's just good stuff. Just good stuff. He's just so good at flow and rap, and I'm just like, damn, you're amazing at this. You were fantastic. Right.
Yeah, it's just really, really great stuff. I mean, yeah, like you said, you know what you're gonna get with Esens, and this one's no different. Really good stuff. I don't have much else to add on to that. But yeah, it's just really great because his last album was 2019, I think. So it's been a few years, and really
about
cool
4 years between each release, I've noticed too. So
yeah,
he takes his time.
True. Yeah, it definitely takes his time. He's kind of one of those low key dudes. And then released this one, I think, independently after leaving the label. And yeah, really great stuff. Always definitely, like you said, one of the best Korean rappers in the scene. I know for us, we're not native Korean speakers, so it's hard to get into the lyrics. But I mean, I've it's well documented.
You can tell talent even when you can't fully understand talent, and he has that talent. And also a fun fact for some of you who don't know, he started off in a duo with Simon Dominic called Supreme Team. Night and day the type of music he created as Supreme Team to now, but still also actually, as a side note, definitely recommend checking out Supreme Team if you want to hear some a little bit older hip hop as well, and also to see the origins of Esens and Simon Dominic as a fun thing. I do also think that he is low key because of the drug charges he has had. I think that might be part of the reason. I wouldn't be surprised.
True. True.
Yeah, weed. I think it was only weed. Weed, for those who are wondering, because Korea and Asia in general have one sip of something and it's just, oh my god, you terrible person. Apparently. I mean, I'm not gonna make any country's laws, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, we could allocate our resources better, probably, in this regard. But that's a whole other discussion for a whole other day that, frankly, is not our problem. But, moving along, though. My personal favorite album release of the year, holy cow, 30, or as I forget how you say it in Korea, their name. But, 30, oh my god, the mostly Deja Vu crew, with, I think, Deep Flow included in this one. Mostly Deja Vu plus Deep Flow and probably someone else that's not part of Deja Vu. Oh my god.
It's Diesel, Kundi Panda, Sun Simba, all are on Deja, and producer Vion, who are all on Deja Vu group, BY's label. and then a rapper named oh my god, why am I blanking out?
What's his name? Yeah, like four of them, like 2/3 of them are in Deja Vu, so it's like mostly a Deja Vu crew.
Yeah, and then like you said, Deep Flow, newest member that was added this year, which was a really crazy thing. But because these are all relatively younger, newer guys, and Deep Flow's an OG in the Korean hip hop scene, and so it was kind of it felt weird at first that he would jump in, but like he fits in perfectly to this because
this would be his style though, totally. And I mean, let's be real here. If these guys weren't in Deja Vu, they probably would have been in VMC. I feel like they totally would fit the mold. I think in VMC at some point, but I mean. They could have if it was a what if scenario. I think they would have been totally in a VMC mold. Some of these guys, but this was easily my favorite EP of the year. I mean, sorry, album of the year. Oh my god, I keep saying EP. Album of the year. It was so good, and it just held it to a high standard. I'm just like, so who's gonna knock it off? Okay, no one knocked it off. I guess this is it. This is it, people. Yeah. Favorite artist of the year, because I mean, multiple favorite rappers on this joint. So good. Oh god, what else was really good? The bands are, it's Pen, Writer's Glock, A Bold Crew, Double Edge, Frostbites. I mean, the other album or two albums that they put out, because I forgot they put out like 2 other albums. It's just so good, just amazing stuff. They actually did put out an EP in October. Oh my god, I have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, that one's really cool. It's I don't know if you have the name of it, but
A Bold Crew Bootleg, it's called.
Yeah. So it's a little EP, and it's very much, if you like MF Doom type of thing. Like
they literally put his mask on the cover.
Yeah. So Vion, the producer in the crew, and then in Deja Vu, he really got into his like MF Doom type of beats bag with that one, and then they just they're a perfect crew to kind of tackle that type of hip hop. So just that really cool, like, you know, sample heavy, not drumless or low minimal amount of drums, just straight rap track. So really great stuff.
Amazing. It's just I don't know what else to say, except it's just the gold standard at this point. For me, it's the gold standard. I don't know. It's pretty much that. No complaints. Just love it. Especially if you love your like 90s influence hip hop. This is like perfect for that. This album, The Frost on Your Edge, is perfect for that.
Right.
And then moving along. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You can finish.
No, I just wanted to commend you, because like for a lot of people, this is like straight, like, you know, maybe dusty old head. Really, I guess you can consider underground hip hop.
I think it is very much underground hip hop at this point.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people is not, you know, they're not going to be checking this one out or coming across it, especially with 30 Crew as a thing. So I really want to commend you on, like, you know, really being into that stuff. So it's
I love me my 90s hip hop. I did listen to more 90s hip hop, but like some of my favorite hip hop songs of all time are from the 90s. So I mean, you know, they were cooking something good there, honestly. And like taking a 90s influence, not always a bad thing. Mainstream appeal wise, not at the top of the game yet, unfortunately. But who knows? Trends are cyclical at this point. Could make a comeback. We're going back into Y2K for pop music, so who knows, honestly.
Right.
Honestly, who knows? But moving along to now our token female album of the year, because, you know, I always try to make sure there's at least one female rapper on these lists, and I think I don't think I would consider this album a token album, because I think this was actually one of the better releases of the year in the hip-hop scene. That is Mirani with The Drift. Girl, she came through. She ate. She ate. I just said girl. Oh my god, I'm sorry. But Mirani, I've enjoyed her so much since first discovering her on Show Me the Money 9. She's just a blast in a glass. You could have argued she could have gotten close to top 4 that year for her competition show, but, you know, alas, that didn't happen. That's reality. But hey, it worked out. Her first project I know she put out was definitely more pop rap influenced, a la, not completely like Nicki Minaj, but the same vein of like, okay, throwing the pop in there to get the people, you know? But this time she was just like, nah, we're going hip hop. We're doing hip hop for sure. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So just, oh god, she's great. I was like so shook too. I was like, damn, she really was cooking. She was cooking some good shit. Oh god. Let's see here. What's a good song? Bad Boy with Big Naughty. So great. Again, that's great. 1, 2, 3, Go Shoot. That was probably my personal favorite with Blase Ray Ami. So good. She actually does have a song with PH1. Not too bad. Asphalt. Let's see here. Candy. I like Candy. Oh yeah, she also has one with Sumin. I Hate You. Great. Just she got a good list of people as features, I think, and she just killed it, and definitely developed more from went away from the pop. Not I don't know how far away, but definitely wasn't as pop as her first release. But yeah, this was great to see her grow. It's definitely different from what she released in the very, very beginning, because I remember some of her first releases before Show Me the Money were very like hyper rap pop kind of sound, and this is not as much that. Which is I think it's growth though. It's good growth for her. I can't wait to see what she does in the future, but I was impressed because I was not expecting this to be as good as it was. I always enjoyed her, but I wouldn't say she was like I don't know if many people would have considered to be like the echelon of echelons in terms of like in terms of music production and stuff, but this was like, oh, okay, I see. You trying to be serious now. Okay, and it's paid off. I like it a lot. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great album. It's one of like same thing for me. It really blew away I didn't have low expectations, but I didn't really expect much when I started the album, and yeah, as it went on, it was just like, wow, this is crazy. And she definitely mentioned, I remember in one of those collab Spotify things, I think it was, and she was very much in the stage of her career where she's experimenting with different sounds, and you can definitely see that throughout this whole album because each song is kind of like a very different genre of hip-hop or R&B, electronic, ranging from electronic stuff to just straight hip-hop trap stuff. Really great stuff. 1, 2, 3 Go Shoot was my one of my favorite tracks. I really liked Make You Mine, which is kind of like a hyper poppy, I don't know, maybe Jersey Club type track.
Yeah.
And the last two are very much kind of almost R&B singing tracks. But yeah, shout out to Mirani. She's definitely grown a lot. Really did her best to capitalize on the popularity of her on Show Me the Money, and
which is fair at this point.
right.
Fair.
So it's really cool because you see a lot of artists that gain popularity right after VVS or right after Show Me the Money, and let alone one of the biggest songs of all time in hip hop, Korean hip hop, VVS. And they maybe capitalize on it right after, but then kind of peter out and you don't really hear from them anymore. But she's definitely staying on top of it, evolving and still working on herself as an artist. She's signed to At Area, which is Groovy Room's sub-label under Higher Music.
That's right. And, yes.
So she blew me away with this one. One of my most unexpected album of the year shortlist selections. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Especially I think for a K-pop audience, I think it's definitely accessible to that. But maintains a really great hip hop R&B sound.
Oh yeah. And then the next one, I can't help whenever I see his name. I'm just like, oh my god, there's no way that anyone who's not Asian can use this as a name. I'm just like, oh my god. I'll be honest, I have not listened to this album. I have heard a few of his songs in the past though, so I'll let you take this one away, Cammy. But every time I see his name, I'm just like, it's like when Lotto originally went by starts with the Korean word for water and then Lotto. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, so just in case I'm not, apparently. An old term of the past. We'll leave it at that. And then she changed it to be more mainstream and palpable, and it all worked out in the end, I guess, for her. But it's similar to that kind of vein. We'll leave it at that.
So, yeah. Well, his name is Young Jaundice is his name.
I can't. I'm just like, oh my god.
That was always a hang up for me. Also since I've known him, it's always something to make fun of. But I've kind of come around to, I guess. But it's just it's a silly name. The Young is spelled like Yonge. which is a street in Toronto, like one of the main big streets in Toronto.
Oh, is that where he's from?
He's not from there. He's Korean, but he
Okay.
very much like a lot of Korean rappers, went to, I guess, kind of study abroad in Toronto.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of where he developed his love for hip hop and stuff like that too, and became a rapper.
I mean, if Drake was able to come from there, you know, what else is possible, I guess, honestly.
Right, yeah. So there's a lot of artists like Don Mills. Don Mills is another one. Don Mills is actually I think a neighborhood in Toronto. So that's where his name comes from. Debo.
Oh, like a Paul, was it Paul, what was his name? Paul Blanco came from Toronto.
Paul, yeah, Paul Blanco, I think
is actually from Canada, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think he definitely grew up there. But
yeah.
So a lot of Korean, a lot of Korean hip hop artists kind of got basically their love for hip hop in that city. So that's where he shows his love for that. John Dissog, obviously, I think is his way of, I don't know, saying he's an Asian rapper for some weird way. I've been trying to find like a specific answer from him.
You say that, and then the title of his album is Crossbreed. So like, I don't.
Yeah, it's Crossbreed. So
we're just really digging into. Oh God, I can't. It's just so silly to me. But I'm just like, I can't touch that with a 10-foot pole. So.
Yeah, but as like I said, in terms of him as a rapper, I think he's one of the best to come out of like the last few years. He used to be on a label with the guy that won Show Me the Money. He's like a speed rapper. I can't remember his name now. But that label dissolved, and he's just been, hit the ground running since he left that label. And one of my favorite rappers. Really kind of intense, old school, like boom bap type stuff. He did release a really great EP with rapper HS. That's all kind of drumless and then like, sample heavy boom bap stuff. And this one is his first solo album, I think. He released it near the end of the year in December. All the tracks are produced by Freddie Casso, another VMC alum. That's just
He was Freddie Casco's Freddie Casso. Freddie Casso. Freddie's fantastic. Freddie's fantastic.
Yeah, insane work ethic. He's put out, like I said, I mentioned earlier, but he's produced a bunch of stuff this year. And this is one of the projects he did. Just really cool. I think this, the reason I mentioned and explained the Young thing with Toronto is this album is very much his story of him. Going from Korea to Toronto and then kind of his time in Toronto. He actually gets into, stuff like him getting locked up and just doing stuff in the streets and doing bad things. And then kind of finding hip hop to kind of save him and even talking about girls he met and stuff like that. And then I think the crossbreed aspect, I think, is that him reconciling his two identities as a Korean and also as his identity that he built loving hip hop in North America. So I want to say that it kind of culminates into the last trip. So it's kind of a concept album in that sense, but really, really dope stuff. I really love his style. Like I said, really hard. If you like maybe like Diesel or those type of rappers.
Oh yeah, I love Diesel.
Think of any parallels? Yeah, maybe like Ghostface Killer.
Oh yeah.
If you're into that style, like kind of heavy in your face, but really over like mellow beats. So, really good stuff. Definitely, like I said, he's one of my favorite rappers that I've been checking out, and I always look forward to what he's gonna do next. So he had a great year.
Yay! And then I do want to bring up though. I think this is his second solo album because he had his first album I think was a collab, and then his first solo album. You know what the title of that is? The title of that was Yellow Fever.
Oh, yeah. He did have that song. Yeah.
I can't. He's like really like, I'm going to exploit this to my advantage so much. And I'm like, damn, son.
And I think he does. I think he leans on that heavily, I think, because in the album, he definitely speaks on like the aspect of his race and
which is fair,
Asian into hip hop, and then like maybe like the quote unquote challenges of that, and obviously a lot of Korean rappers that come to North America experienced some form of racism, which is
shocker.
Yeah, shocker, but also it's kind of it's a give and take because they're also doing hip hop, which is obviously a black art form that was created and born in the United States.
Off the streets
so
of Bronx.
making a career off of that. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic, but I think it's
the Brooklyn.
It's a cool way to show his. That's definitely like a contested thing too.
Yeah, it's like either Bronx or Brooklyn. I don't know. It's one of the boroughs of New York City. One of them.
Right.
That's not Queens or Staten Island or Manhattan.
But yeah, I think he does a pretty good, even though his presentation is a little crass. I think he does a good job of maybe reconciling those issues and expressing himself in his art. So.
No, yeah, I should check out more of his stuff though, and all the jokes aside, and all the like, oh my god, you are towing the line, bro. But he's smart in a way; it's quite clever. Honestly. And then as a final one, I kind of threw on here because I realized, oh shoot, I forgot to put it on here earlier. But Untel's Animal, his album Animal. Untel, I really loved his stuff last year, or sorry, in 2022, because I keep saying last year, but it's last year's technically 2023, so it's like Untel is such a fun time to listen to watch. He just puts out some of the most unique stuff in my opinion compared to other rappers, and he is just so talented. He's just so talented in my opinion. His only feature with Kuni Panda is great. Mr. Lucid Dream, Camel Mirror, Ugly Animal, Lazy Hippo, like this is a great album. He's fantastic. I actually like the design of the album too. It's really cool. Very indie artsy, but yet, he's not an indie guy. He's a rapper, but he's just a fun talent. So I just wanted to highlight him because he's great.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It came out pretty late in the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Untel's always great. It feels like every project he puts out, he kind of levels up in terms of his skill, and like he's very creative and conceptual. So this one's no different. He does a lot of different stuff on this album too, like drum and bass tracks. And, he's kind of known for doing the experimental electronic stuff, but he definitely gets in a bunch of different areas on this one. So I definitely recommend it too if you're into maybe you're not the biggest hip hop person, but you like the different stuff, the experimental, more unique stuff. He's definitely up your alley.
Oh yeah, he's great for that. And then on to, I guess, some news topics that we want to discuss about, or would like to discuss about, to wrap it all up, to wrap up the year, and also a few other extra bonus topics potentially, to make it fun and exciting. So let's get into it. First off, along with all the other disbandments that happened back in 2022, in terms of crews and labels, VMC decides to be next on the disbanding chopping block. It definitely was a trend, labels shutting down. I do question, though, whether it's just... And we can get into this, too, with the whole is K-hip-hop dead, allegedly, conversation in this. But, VMC, such a great, plethora of talent, especially if you like those that are more underground / clearly have a 90s rap influence style to them. And then like a modernized take of that. It's such a legendary studio. Has produced some really fantastic talent. And it looks like there's still going to be crews branching out from this, and there's still going to be, no doubt, a bunch of these guys are going to probably still collab together. I have no doubt about that. It's just it just kind of sucks to see like a label like that end, because they were so good. But at the same time, it does seem to be an interesting pattern of, okay, so a lot of these guys just seem to the labels are just shutting down for what reason? Is it profit, lack of profit? Is it just the label has allegedly run the course of what the founders originally wanted it to be? Like, it seems to be multiple reasons as to why stuff like this ends, but yeah, it's sad, but no doubt, it's going to lead to some more creativity, probably, and freedom, and less stagnation, I imagine. in a way.
Mm.
So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts, feelings on this one, Cammy?
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. I think the good thing about it though was that it was kind of prepared for. I want to say end of 2022 they made the announcement, or early
Yeah, I think
2023. I
so.
can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically it wasn't like Highlight when that one disbanded. It was kind of very abrupt. Like they basically were like, "Hey, Highlight's done," and then I think Palo Alto and Huckleberry P did like a live stream explaining the reasons why um and all that stuff. So it very was very much abrupt. I know even some of the artists were like, "What the hell?" Like I just like Ash B had just signed like less than a year before, and she was like, "Dude,
Oh
what the
yeah.
hell?" But with VMC, it was kind of I feel like it was very much prepared for. They probably knew they had plans to do like a go away a farewell concert as the last thing. They put out Holiday, producer on there, put out an album as the last release, and then they did that final EP with everyone collabing on there as a kind of a send away. But yeah, man, like you said, it just was always kind of the bastion in the Korean hip hop scene of just the raw, true to form hip hop stuff. Even when very anti, going on showing me the money for a long time and doing all that the quote unquote bullshit that you have to do to be successful, and they did
To
their
make
thing.
money off of music these days because
Right, they were very
yeah.
uncompromising, and Deep Flow is kind of as the head of that very much. He eventually changed his thinking on that style of business and music, but it was always cool because you could rely on VMC to do just straight up hip hop stuff. So
Yeah.
really great, lots of dope artists on there like Don Mills, Los, who else, like Waji, um, Rohan, all kinds of stuff. QM has probably
Oh
been
yeah,
like one of
Cume's
the
really good
biggest.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's QM short for question mark. He's hit the ground running, doing his own thing. Him and Freddie Casso started their own label last year after leaving VMC, or after VMC disbanded. So really cool because you can, like I said, we mentioned Odie and Holiday with Bad At earlier. QM, Freddie Casso doing all kinds of EP and EPs and making a label and signing artists. So all the artists
Yeah,
have been
what's the new
Don
label
Mills.
name? I think I missed that from this past
It's
year.
it's called Nazca, NAZCA Records. Yeah, Nazca Records.
NASCAR, like close to NASCAR, but
Kind of,
not quite.
yeah, similar. Right.
Not
So
quite.
they started that. They have two artists, Ambit Jack and another one named Yugun. Very much new. So I think that'll be the concept of that label, of just kind of bringing up more underground, lesser known guys.
Which is
But
fair.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like you said, it kind of marks the end of an era, because very much from almost kind of like the second gen of K hip hop, if you want to look at it through that lens, was very much these all these rappers that were inspired by the first generation of Korean hip hop that kind of created the scene, and then these guys kind of came up idolizing it and learning from those guys. And then they all ended up starting their own labels, like J Park, Swings, Deep Flow, Palo Alto. Palo Alto was like under the wing of Tiger JK, and he decided to do his own thing with Highlight. So yeah, it just seems like it's kind of and the way we'll talk about it probably next, the way these labels are changing, and then the idea with these labels was kind of very crew based. Like VMC started as a crew. And it was kind of like, oh, if you fit the mold into the identity of the label, you were allowed to jump in. And so it was very much, crew, family type vibe with these labels. And each label was kind of known for their certain sounds. So that's definitely something that's changing and VMC kind of marks the end of that era. So
I was about to say, because that's kind of something that what's their face, The Quiet and Hyundai did with their label Daytona, where they were very much like, yeah, we wanted to make this label. This was again like back in, what was it, 2021 I think, or 2022,
Around
whenever
there.
they found that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the opposite of like the whole VMC type of style of crew or label, where it's like, well, no, we're not making this a family. If they want to collab with each other, go ahead. But like, we're not going in as like a full-on unit. We want this to be about individual artists flourishing kind of deal, which is kind of the opposite of like, oh, what's the label? McQuaid and Doki did together. It's
Illionaire?
shoot,
Or
yeah,
Ambition?
Ambition. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, it's like kind of the opposite also of like Ambition Records, which is kind of funny how that works out. But like it's kind of like, oh, okay, so the tides are a little bit changing where we're moving away from the we're all a family aspect to like we want to support the individual artists, but also like if they want to collab, you know, that to go ahead, go have fun, but we're not going to force you guys to and force you to move as a unit kind of deal. It's more so we're going to let that be your choice if you choose to do so.
Yeah, and it's like a conscious effort to kind of more emulate maybe like in the West with like Def Jam, where you know over here we know artists are signed to big labels, but we don't necessarily tie their identity to that label. You know what I mean? Like,
We do not, yeah.
Yeah, because a certain rapper is just because they're signed to Def Jam, we're like, oh, okay, we know what we're gonna get. But no, they're just it's just kind of a platform for resources and distribution. So
Yeah.
it definitely seems that's more of the way that the hip hop scene is going now. We still got labels, Deja Vu, like we talked about with 30 Crew and all that. That's BY's label. Very much has that very crew. They're all homies, signing friends and crew members and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So there's still definitely that identity.
Yeah,
out there
it
in
still
some of the
exists,
labels,
but it's changing for sure.
right.
Amongst some.
And yeah, you even see that with like AOMG, because AOMG used to be very much a tight knit group, and now they're
AOMG's
signing,
massive. It's a massive label now.
They're signing, you know, former K-pop idols and like Lehigh and R&B singers and like even different types of multimedia artists. I think they had like a webtoon artist they recently signed as well.
Oh yeah,
so
and then they have also the Korean Zombie, the mixed martial artist, where
right.
we have
and
infamously talked about how he got punched in the face at a show.
Yeah.
I think it was part of an Iceberg video tier list. We talked about that, but that was wild. Where it was like Jay Park got punched in the face. We don't know if it was a skit or not, but he got punched in the face. So
crazy Jay Park
crazy
canon.
times.
Yeah, that's great. It's like, and then even it's not. I'll mention it real quick, but even with like Jay Park stepping down from AOMG, that's another kind of big thing that happened. But DJ Pumpkin is now running that label, and he's obviously comes from DJing, and he set up a sub label called Solar Beam, which is for DJs and producers. That kind of came out, and I noticed that was a big focus that he's doing with that label. So definitely expanding what not just hip hop, but maybe doing more of like the music R&B. Definitely broadening their
horizons.
Right, and that could be for both business practical sense and maybe just as a natural evolution of not being stagnant and just doing one type of music. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I have no doubt, though, Jay Park probably still has an influence, but clearly it's probably more so of a shareholder / I'm on the chairman. Is he still on the chairman board, if there is one for AOMG? I would think he would be.
I imagine he's still the founder, so I'm sure he's still involved. I think he mentioned that he's more of just like a consultant kind of thing, I guess, to the artist.
Which is fair, yeah.
He still has artists go to him for certain things if they need, and he's there for that. But I don't think he's involved in the day-to-day business decisions.
No, God, no. I think he wanted to probably get away from that. I imagine. Well, at least I think for more vision, he probably is at this point. But I guess he wanted to give that up for the other two at this point in time. So, but yeah, no, sad day for VMC to disband. But it seemed to be going along the course of how things were going in recent years. And then, but speaking for other groups, like with AOMG expanding, AP Alchemy. AP Alchemy. So I guess Swings was all just like, you know what? I want to get bigger. Not just having bigger muscles, I guess, and getting more fit. He wants to expand his music empire, I guess. So, oh god, how many labels is there now technically under this? Like 5? Or something like that, something ridiculous.
I think now it's 6. He just
at the
start of this year he added another one.
Oh my god!
This year, so under the AP Alchemy umbrella, it's the original 3, which is Just Music, Indigo Music, and We the Plug. And then he started secretly, kind of low key, a couple years back, a label called Minefield, and then a producer label called Sugar Beats. And then just this year, he started a label called What You Need, which I think will be more focused on like the first artist to be signed there is like a makeup visual effects type person. So I think it'll be more of those type of multimedia. Basically, I think he's trying to like what do you call it, like vertical integration kind of business move.
Gotcha.
Where he's trying to have all these, you know, the artists, the production, the visuals, all that under one house, and all those different labels under kind of, which I think is considered a holding type of label.
Gotcha.
Which is AP Alchemy. I can't remember the concept behind the name, but yeah, it was just kind of a big thing. Like he really, last year he made a big deal about it. It was like, this is gonna change the game of in the hip hop scene and the music scene. And yeah, we made a big deal about it. They came out with two pretty
albums,
impressive,
I think.
Yeah, compilation albums, kind of like what Higher Music did a few years back with the Red and Blue tapes. Yeah. And yeah, it was a big thing. It was a big deal, but in my personal opinion, it was like very impressive to see. But in terms of like what we got out of it musically,
It was
yeah, it was just kind of like yeah.
Okay.
And so right,
like, this
and
is gonna
then
be so big. I'm like, maybe you needed to cook the stew a little bit longer there, Sway.
Right. And it very much felt like that. Because it was kind of, things were changing. Like he would be like, oh, this is gonna happen this day, oh wait, no, it's gonna happen this, and then this is gonna happen, and it seemed to be changing on the fly. So it definitely felt rushed a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, it was just one of the biggest topics, so I felt like we had to mention it for sure, because it definitely, like I said, us mentioning the closing of VMC, I think this is definitely a different
Take
direction
on that.
right. So it's kind of him changing what the how the hip hop infrastructure in Korea is working in terms of the labels and how artists are signed and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a pretty crazy thing. So I think it'll definitely be an influential thing. They got like over 50 artists across all the labels, I want to say, signed there. So I don't know, what do you think, what did you think about the AP Alchemy thing overall?
That was something. I honestly forgot about those albums, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, oh, it didn't stand out to me album wise as like the Higher, say for example, because it's the easiest ones I can think of, the Higher Music label album collab albums, or like the highlight ones. I see his ambition, I see he's trying, and it'll probably take a little bit longer to get there, assuming things are still going in a good direction in that regard. But I think he needed to cook a little bit more musically to really convince everyone. And I don't know if him or whatever producers were working on this, because I know it's not just him doing all that. But you know, it sounds like he's running the show, so to say.
Right. Yeah.
You know, maybe a little bit more direction in that regard. But I don't think it's the worst thing ever. It's not like he released absolute garbage. But it's just nothing memorable, which some argue is worse than being hot garbage. Because, for example, I'm gonna spoil it a little bit because I think it's gonna release soon. But our worst song ever of all time in K-pop, we consider to be "Gang" by Rain. It's hot garbage, but you remember the hot garbage because it's just so bad. But like this it's very much in the whole. It is decent, but at the end of the day, maybe some people just consider it bad because it's not just as memorable. And sometimes some people find out to be worse just to be okay than to be bad, unfortunately. And I think so far that their album release, the album compilations were just kind of so-so. They weren't bad, but they weren't, you know, notably stand out, which is kind of the problem, because you want to notably stand out, especially if you're doing a whole big hoopla about this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's just the fact that it's just so many artists. It was a lot at once. So there is definitely a lot of great talent that he's signed on there. Especially
he has
with
talent.
With the label like Minefield, there's a lot of fresh, even a lot of artists I've never heard of. So he's really has a really good ear in terms of what's coming up and what's next. But Yeah, I'm more excited about the future of the individual parts of like the artists. And we
Yes.
mentioned Kid Millie was obviously the big, he's part of Indigo Music. He was the big highlight from there,
Oh
out
yeah.
of everything they did. But also like artists like Iso or Duty we mentioned earlier.
Exactly.
There's a lot of those artists are under AP Alchemy, so I'm very much looking forward to um, all their stuff individually, in the years coming ahead. So we'll see how it pans out.
Yes, I am excited to see the individual artists mainly and how that goes out. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Cutie Boy actually recently bounce from like Just Music, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's a
Or
big deal because
or
he's been
or
there
technically I
since.
think it's officially known as Linchpin, but who's to say?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
kind of
know.
interchangeable,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I
that's
don't
a
know
big
why.
that was a big moment too. Even like Jinbo was another artist that left recently, and he had just signed
Oh, I didn't
maybe a
realize
couple
that.
years.
Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
he announced at the beginning of this year that he left. A couple artists that have been there as well, Yunwei and Janover, also
Oh,
left. We the Plug.
okay.
So that's also the interesting thing. I think a lot of the founding or like earlier artists are rumored to leave or have left. So I think that's definitely going to be an interesting change as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I can understand why a lot of artists are like, dude, maybe they're not. I'm not feeling the vision of this new thing, so I'm gonna go do my own thing. Or I think it's easy with that many artists to get lost in the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I can see that being a concern.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Um, but yeah, moving on. Well, actually, speaking of swing, still, I decided to switch a topic around because I'm like, you might as well just transition into this. Swings, of course, had some beef this year. Shocking, not shocking, not at all. But I think what is shocking is who he had the beef with. In this case, CK. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, wild. I forget the finer details, so you might have to refresh me on that one, Cammy. But I was like very shocked. I was like, "What is happening? Why are we like?" Maybe I shouldn't have been completely surprised, but also I'm just like, "This is so out of left field. What is going on here? What is
Yeah,
happening?"
and even in the details, it's kind of they've been very vague about what they're dissing each other for, so it's been funny to kind of follow it. But um, basically, is just like I think they have a huge disagreement on how they are conducting business, and we just talked about swings and AP Alchemy and doing all that and signing all these people. So I think Sick K's beef kind of was like he had left. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. That was a big thing
Yeah,
too.
he
Is
left
he left
higher music.
Higher Music? You're right. So
Yes,
once he was done with his contract, he left that and he set up his own label and signed Haon, who also left Higher Music as well.
not shocking.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
those two were very close.
Yeah, they're kind of like little brothers, brother, kind of
Yeah.
relationship with their. And they released some stuff. So I'm blanking on the name of. Do you remember the name of Sick K's label?
Shoot, I have to double check. Maybe he posted on his Instagram or
Oh,
something.
KP, I think it is called.
KP.
KP,
Okay.
something like that. um, something like that. Something with a K. But basically, he started that label, and he's kind of. I think Sick K was upset with how. Not upset, but maybe had disagreements on how things were being run at Higher Music and how maybe they limited him as an artist. So I think he wanted to start his own label, and his kind of goal was that to sign really cool artists that and let them kind of flourish and do their own thing. Um, and yeah, so I think there's some beef that he
Oh,
mentioned in a rap song, I think on a Lila Mars track,
oh yeah.
um, and they decided to bleep it out. He mentioned Swings by name, and they bleeped it out because I don't think Lila Mars and the person whose song it was didn't want to get involved with that.
Yeah, Lila
Um,
Mars, I feel like Lila Mars seems like a rather dude that's just like kind of chill, doing his own thing. Not completely, but
right,
like he's very much like I want to have fun. I don't want to get in trouble.
right. So I think they didn't want to get involved. So I think it was very clear, I guess, based on the context in which it was mentioned that Swings knew it was him being mentioned. I think they had some beef, and Swings is telling him like, "Oh, I don't talk to people that I own buildings, and you're just a dude that takes off his shirt and stuff like that." So they went back and forth, but the big thing was like Sick K was kind of um, uh, basically saying, kind of inferring that the way Swings does business with artists, maybe like contract wise and stuff like that, it's not the greatest, and he really disagrees with that. And a lot of people it was funny because it became a meme for a moment when like people were photoshopping like Swings and Sick K on the Marvel Captain America Civil War poster and shit, because like these are two kind of big respected guys, Swings especially. And so, obviously people came to their defense on either side. So it kind of came down to that, like a meme. But yeah, I just wanted to I thought we should mention it because it was a big kind of.
It's so silly.
Yeah, it ultimately kind of didn't really go much after that. They kind of released a couple of diss tracks. Swings released like a freaking 12-minute diss track against Sick K. And still, like, even all these diss tracks, they really never got into. It was more ad hominem, personal attacks on, like, Sick K is using, auto tune too much and shit like that. So, obviously, Swings is the more proficient in terms of rap skills.
Yeah, I don't think that's not even being polite. That's just the truth, honestly. That's not to say Sick K is bad. Sick K is probably good on the better end of the electronic rappers, like that like to use autotune. I wouldn't say electronic rappers, but like, there's clearly electronic influence in his music a lot of the time, you can tell, but it's not, it changes, but like he likes to use autotune for sure.
Yeah. And he's definitely the more of like popular in terms of his presence in like the Western. Even like I know a lot of people that probably are K-pop fans know Sick K because he's attached to some of the like J Park's labels and stuff like that too. So he's very well known. He's very more popular. That was another thing they butted heads on, is AP tried to have this big concert to bring out all these artists and stuff like that, and it failed to sell well. And they eventually had to give out tickets for free. And then I'm selling out venues just as big or bigger, and selling out tours in the US and Europe. So that was another thing. But it's just kind of a silly thing but I think it also is a marker in the Korean hip hop scene of two different styles of how are these label heads and artists are going to approach business, I guess.
Exactly.
Two very different philosophies. So I think it was important to mention.
Not exactly. That is the truth right there. It's just funny to me because I'm like, Swings, really? You're fighting CK? What?
Yeah.
It's like, except it's like CK's like if I would actually, I don't even know if Swings is fighting. It's like a weird twisted version of Eminem versus Machine Gun Kelly, except CK's not as shit as Machine Gun Kelly, and Machine Gun Kelly now does, I guess, punk rock. Punk rock, apparently. I don't know what's going on there. But, like, it's kind of like that. I kind of, like, imagine it like that. I'm just like, this is kind of hilarious. Oh, God. But I can't. It's, like, one of those... It's, like, that's the worst of, I guess, hip-hop beef in Korea. Which, I mean, I'll take it any day over the craziness that happened in the 90s in the States. And just... we don't need to get into it too much, but the unfortunate side of things on the drill scene in New York. Because I've heard a lot of... bad stuff about that, which I'm just like, it did not need to get to that. And it is there are massive deep dive videos in case anyone's curious about that side of things on YouTube and stuff you can look into about the New York drill scene and just a lot of the bad, terrible stuff that had happened. But that you could please go check out those people who have dedicated hours to that. I don't want to bring that up because it's just sad all around, but like at least it's not that. Like, this is the worst of beef in Korea. I will take it. It's just more so stupid, which I prefer. Yeah. I prefer stupidity any day over people, like, actually dying. And
and that's not to say, like, there is beefs and whatever in the hip-hop scene that get to a violent point, but never to the point. I don't think anyone's ever died over beef. But ultimately, it comes down to difference in ideologies and difference in... maybe some guys like, oh, you're a pop rapper and I represent the true essence of hip hop and that kind of clash and stuff like that. So or just kind of personal digs and personal beef. But Yeah, like you said, it never. This is ultimately, it just comes down to a couple diss tracks and a few exchange words, and then a lot of times it's resolved behind the scenes, or just forgotten about. So, but yeah, it's kind of, there's not much news that comes out of Korean hip hop. So, well, beefs are always a headline getter, and it's just something that's kind of like exciting to follow in that sense. So,
The kids have fun following it on the internet. What
right.
it's fun. They can, and then they fight it with each other about which hip hop's better. All that jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. And moving on though to some more legit government controversy. So, guess who decided to try to avoid the military draft? Couple hip hop artists, Ravi and Nafla in particular. Ravi, everything about Ravi post Vix that I've seen, it just blows my freaking mind. How does he know these people in the industry? How was he able to make a label? And how did he mess up so badly with trying to avoid the military after leaving Vix? And I love Vix, by the way, as a pop group. They released some bangers back in the day. Ravi's individual music, I have not been as hot on. I do appreciate the fact that he has created a nice label, though, for some other great artists to flourish. Ravi's music himself, though, don't really care for as much. I just don't. Nafla, on the other hand, I think it's a fantastic rapper, but he just seems to be making piss poor legal choices. Again, it's like, Nafla, you already had weed issues. Why are you trying to avoid the military, dude? My God. I'm just kind of like, guys, really? Did you not pay attention to Stephen Yu back in the day? Did you not pay attention to when, what's his name? Monkey, Mommy, not Mommy Son, what's his name? Monkey, something
MC
another.
Mon,
MC Mon. When MC Mon pulled out all his wisdom teeth and tried to claim he had mouth issues, like, come on, guys. Come on. Seriously?
It's definitely nothing new. Like, I know Don Mills had that issue too.
Yeah.
Where he tried to like gain a bunch of weight and like be ineligible for that. But this one actually is a very different, like, instead of actually trying to avoid the draft, they basically rigged it to
that's right. They didn't completely avoid it. They tried to like get the easy shit out of it.
Yeah, right. So they basically there was a system, and it's not just these two, it's just that they were popular names, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was a whole system involved where people were paying off doctors to give like false medical diagnosis, to get medical exemptions, or basically easy treatment or easy placement in the military. And in the case of Nafla, he basically did all that, and I'm assuming through Ravi, because Ravi was convicted of or found to be guilty of that as well. But Nafla also former Make It Rain guy, which dissolved because of previously, like you mentioned, weed and
all of his
drug issues.
Well, not just him, like other members in that small label of his.
That whole label just kind of blew up after that.
Yeah.
And all those artists kind of have their own deals to issues to deal with. But Nafla definitely, out of all those, was always my favorite, and I think the most talented in terms of a rapper. He won Show Me the Money 7. And still continued to put out good music, but just continuously gets in his own way with these legal troubles. And with him, it was more like he got special treatment, basically paid for special treatment, falsely being diagnosed, or maybe was properly diagnosed with actual symptoms, or with some type of, I guess, mental health stuff. But when it came down to him serving his military, he got not only a special exemption and easy placement, but turned out that I guess he wasn't even showing up to the stuff he had to do. So
Buddy,
he was still.
You already had like at least 2 drug charges. What the fuck were you thinking? That's what I want to yell at him. I'm like, dude, you can't be pulling shit like that when you already have. I know doing mandatory military service sucks. I get it. Everyone hates it. Probably most people probably. Who knows how much everyone likes it or dislikes it. I imagine it's probably a mixed opinion amongst the men in Korea, no doubt about it. Still hotly contested. But like, I get it. You legally have to do it. I know, it sucks. I know. Like, it's the inevitability. It's like either that or you go to jail. It sucks. I hate the options, and I know. But, like, dude,
Yeah.
you already had at least two drug charges on you, I think, if I'm not mistaken. At least 2 drug charges. Think about it. It's like, how stupid are you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And he had just kind of, I think he finally got sentenced to those things, and it was like a year, kind of like a suspended sentence, I guess, kind of probation stuff.
Oh
so
my
he had
gosh.
already had that kind of finally in the rear view. He had released the album when he was, I guess, supposedly in the military. That's the thing. I was like, how's he still putting out all music and stuff when he's apparently in the military? Or like, did he really do that much outside? I don't know exact timelines, but
Yeah.
he definitely got caught up along with Ravi, who is the person that heads his label, Grooveland.
Yeah.
In terms of like the future, I don't know what holds. I think Ravi will be fine. He's got money. He's got,
Somehow.
influence.
Somehow.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I know.
it's a big question mark to me because I'm just like, how? Why? But okay, then.
I believe he has a lot of credits. I know a lot of like the Vic stuff he had writing credits and
Probably,
stuff
but
like that.
I'm like, he made that much money off of that? Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
I guess.
I think he's up there in terms of like, how many, those like Komka lists of how many tracks has
I guess so.
his name on.
must
I don't know.
be.
It
like,
is
people still
kind of
listen
weird
to Vix
though.
that much? Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know he does
Damn.
all this stuff for artists, like, but yeah, he's always been a controversial kind of figure since he's gone on his own. And yeah, it's just a very stupid, unfortunate, because especially with Nafla, I think he's one of my favorites, and that last album he put out was one of my favorites.
Oh god, it was so good. His
yeah.
most recent album was fantastic, phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm
great
like,
stuff,
oh,
but
dude, what are you doing?
yeah, it's frustrating.
It's
but
like, do you need someone to put you on a leash or something? Like, oh my god, dude.
yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I think, like I said, in the long run, I think Ravi will be fine. Maybe
He'll probably just, I don't know if he'll be much of an artist. He'll probably just run stuff behind the scenes, I guess, at Grooveland, assuming they keep him on.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as for Nafla, I think at least in Korea, his reputation is way too damaged. I don't think he'll be able to recover from this.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Especially with the military thing. The drug stuff, some people might, within the scene, might be nice about, but the military thing, like, bro, no.
Yeah.
It's like,
that pisses off a lot of people, because it's
Yeah.
like, it's something that everyone has to do, and so it's like it just pisses people off more when people that use their fame and money to kind of circumvent those obligations, and
Yeah.
it's definitely a hot topic over there, but
Oh yeah.
it's understandable why people would be pissed, but we'll see what happens with him. I don't, maybe he can try. He is kind of he grew up in the US and was here from Southern California, like Pasadena area, so
Yeah.
maybe he can try over here, but I'm not sure.
You might just
how
try to
that would
find
pan out.
Doki and just be like, hey, Doki, help.
Yeah, right. Who was someone similar who had issues with money and taxes and stuff.
Oh,
and
God.
that was, we didn't talk about him, but he released some pretty good stuff last year. I
Damn.
was very much surprised. He kind of feels like old Doki is back.
Damn.
So he's definitely doing his own thing. I know it's probably not as popular, but yeah, he's in terms of the music, it's pretty good. So
Well,
we'll
that's
see.
good to
Maybe
hear.
that might be a good lane for him. Now that you mention it.
Maybe. But yeah, that's good to hear. And then moving along, though, from all that controversy and stuff, apparently this was the year of everyone deciding to finally release an album after a while, or just show up somewhere. Which, you know what?
Right.
I get it. Pandemic probably killed some of the creativity. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I get it. I get it. But you know what? It's good to see a bunch of people make some appearances again. Dean just spontaneously showing back up, Benzino back, J. Clef, Zion T, Crush Suman. Like, it's just nice to see familiar faces show up again, honestly. It's like, oh,
Right.
yay, everyone's back.
Yeah. And I think obviously the biggest one of those is Dean. That's everyone's, even like outside of the, the hip hop and R&B scene, that he's very much popular in the K-pop realm as well. So I think him coming back and finally releasing a track. It was just one track.
One
but
single.
It was something at least. So, and I think that bodes well for the future. He's probably going to release an album this year, but
I hope so, because literally 130 Mood TRBL is his last album. That was 2016, and I think that might have been one of his. Yeah, that's like one of his first things he put out there ever.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh my god.
I think with him too, it's very funny because he's like I said, he's very much known in K-pop. Like you ask anyone in K-pop that like, oh, who do you know in Korean R&B and hip hop, they'll say most likely Dean, J Park.
Yeah.
Those names are probably the first two that come up, but yeah, that's a big exciting thing. The song was okay to me, but I'm just more happy to let's see what else we get. It's very much a Dean song, so yeah, it's just like you said, a lot of these maybe some military. Like I know Crush was in the military during the pandemic, and recently came back and finally released an album. Zion T, who we mentioned before, released an album finally this year after I think a couple of years as well, maybe 2018, 2019 since his last album.
Yeah, and, it's been a hot minute from Zion T.
Yeah, so yeah, it was just really cool, and I think a lot of these are my favorite artists. J Cliff was another one. Yeah, so it was a really cool year. I think that was just a really fun theme. I thought permeated throughout the year. I was like, wow, we're finally getting these back. E-Sense, Benzino, back to back was crazy. Even Kid Millie had not released besides the Cliche album in 2021. His first album in a couple years. So yeah, just a really cool thing that I noticed throughout last year.
Yeah, I'm happy to see a lot of these guys back in the game, pushing out stuff again. But yeah, now talk about killing creativity, COVID, my god. Who knows? And that kind of killing creativity might kind of lead into our next topic of discussion, honestly, because it could be a factor. And that factor is K-hip-hop dead? Question mark. Truth of the answer is no, probably not. Probably not dead, honestly. But it definitely is evolving, and it is changing from what it has been, for sure. But to really get into that, I think a lot of this is probably brought up because of whatever, the lack of stuff that's happening around Show Me the Money, and the disbanding, and like all these several labels disbanding, and all that kind of jazz, which I think is kind of like what's leading to people say K-hip-hop is dead. And I say for our albums list, those are like, I think all the ones we mentioned are pretty much like majority of them are like ones people collectively that maybe follow the scene might collectively agree is like the solid ones, and the other ones maybe have been more just an reception, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it happens. We have bad years. Notoriously, we collectively, KSKP, does not like 2017 as a year in K-pop overall, but it happens, there's lulls. It's inevitable.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad to hear your thoughts on it too, because it's been frustrating for me to hear like a lot of people saying that, because I'm like, dude, this is like one of my favorite years in Korean hip hop. Like, look at the albums we got, even like on all spectrums, from the biggest artists to like even the underground, which is like quote unquote underground. I don't know who to categorize on that, but
I don't know what's underground anymore.
Just like the lesser
alternative. I'll just say at least alternative hip hop. That's definitely clearly not the popular style at the moment.
Yeah, and especially in that aspect, like the lesser known, less mainstream stuff. Like, to me, the Korean hip hop scene has just absolutely thrived in terms of that stuff, in terms of the music. So, yeah, I think you make a good point about more maybe the perception and the culture. I think definitely Show Me the Money not airing this year is a big factor.
Maybe not be dead. Maybe is dead. I don't really. Did they ever officially cancel it? I don't know.
No, they didn't say, but I know said that this year they're gonna release like a kind of I think they talked about it as an offshoot or like a side note show, I guess, kind of thing. I don't remember what it's called, but it sounds to me like a Produce and Girls Planet 999 situation.
Oh, fun! Like, you can't wait.
It's like, oh yeah, this is a new thing, but it's just the same thing, kind of with a new coat of paint. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
And maybe something similar. So I don't know. But it definitely needed to happen, because I think the Show Me the Money formula and kind of thing, show me money as a whole kind of got stale, which is ironic, because it was probably these last couple of seasons were probably the most popular in terms of the music and the artists that showed up and won.
Oh yeah,
like Lee Young-ji, Lil Boy, and all those. So BBS, like we mentioned earlier.
Oh god, yeah, season 9. It's season 9 especially. I was like, oh god, that blew off.
That one. If we were
down.
to stop there, if we were to stop at 9, I think that would have been perfect. But yeah, it went on for 2 more. So I think
2 more. I mean, we did at least with the last season. We got at least a really good female rapper, finally that won the show. But of course, you can see some idiots on the internet probably being like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
this is
like,
why." Oh my god, we can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, okay, just say that you prefer a deeper tone male sounding voice when it comes to rapping. Oh, actually, no, wait, that's a lie, because Eon-G is like that, but apparently you prefer for it to be more male sounding, even more male sounding than that. Because I forget, Eon-G has a deep voice when she raps.
Yeah.
But like, god, I don't know. They're like, she hasn't released enough singles, but she's, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Who got the last laugh now? She is a feature on one of our favorite K-pop songs of the year for 2023. So you know what? Win. Okay? But yeah, is hip-hop truly dead? Back on that topic.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, you know, I can see maybe how some people get that perception. And definitely, as you mentioned, like with K-pop, like K-pop's actually been thriving this year.
Yeah, crazy.
I feel more so, just more so than ever. So I think there was like you said, a lull in the COVID years with that stuff. So maybe people more paid attention to other types of Korean music or hip hop and R&B. But I even see that in the Western music sense, like a lot more people are into the pop and stuff like that. So it's not exclusive to the Korean hip hop scene. Even in the US and the Western scene, people are saying hip hop's dead and all that stuff. So, which I think I've had a lot of favorite hip hop albums that came out last year as well, in the Western scene. So
it's just, I think, gonna say shout out to Scare in the House. Love that album. Love that album like so much.
One of the biggest albums that came out last year. So
I love that album.
I don't know. But I think you said it perfectly, where like it's a bit of a hyperbolic reaction to just a normal lull where, you know, it's just not as hip hop and R&B are just not as popular as, you know, and other things are taking away the attention. So I'm sure it'll come back. I
don't know. The R&B probably is still doing decently well in Korea. I feel like R&B is kind of like the other offering from the ballad side of things, where it's like, okay, we want good singers but cool beats. So I feel like R&B is still decently like liked. True. But I feel like it's, I don't know, the hip hop side, I can't tell half the time what's going on, like in terms of popularity. But maybe peak public popularity is lulling down there. But I think it's still one of the better options to check out, like hip hop music overseas, honestly.
Right.
Like overall in general, because like especially if you don't want something in English.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, but yeah, I don't think it's dead quite yet. It's definitely, there's a lull, but it's definitely not dead. I think it's really just I think people are just saying that because of the lack of Show Me the Money or notable hip hop competition shows. But yeah, definitely. Personally, but yeah. And then I guess I gotta put a topic here about anything K-pop thing we want to discuss potentially. If you want to throw, because I know you like to talk about B-sides from time to time. So, in case anything K-pop related you want to bring up, so we can tie back to that.
Yeah, I guess I think the biggest thing I'd say is that in the last year or so, especially the last year, I had my own lull with K-pop, like from like 2019 to 2022, and I was just kind of not really. I was focusing more on other stuff. So, but these last years, especially. I really feel like a K-pop fan again, and that's mostly, and it's mostly due to, of course, New Jeans. They reignited a love for K-pop that I haven't felt in a while. Like I felt like a fan, rooting for them, like, music show wins, and we got to get these streams up. Like, and like oh like I was following their road to like beating the all time song on Perfect All Kills and all that stuff. So
Oh my
um
god, yeah.
that I think that was a fun thing. So definitely and just the New Jeans music I think is for me. It's definitely my style. We've
Oh,
mentioned
same here.
Bana. Yeah. I know it's everyone's like really into they're like the biggest group and they're one of the biggest groups and they're only barely over a year old. So
God, yeah.
it's just crazy to see how far they've come already and where they can go in the future. But yeah, just musically, like everything wise, like the visuals, the music videos are really really dope. They always have a cool concept behind those. Um, and regardless of people's misgivings on the group themselves or how it's run or whatever, I think creatively and musically you can't really knock them for how much quality stuff they put out. Yeah, that's probably the main thing.
Oh
Yeah, just
yeah,
I really
the
liked
New
a lot
Jeans
of
of it all,
groups.
and also the Seraphim for me. Hi, the Seraphim. The Hype Girl
Right.
group so far, killing it. Don't know about the one
Yeah.
that's coming up from the Are You Next? Oh, was it Are You Next? Show. We'll have to see. Kayla and Samly have thoughts on that one. If you are curious, definitely check it out on a previous episode of ours that we have. I did not watch the show, so I cannot say, but I know there's a couple people in that group we're not sure about. But so far, Hype Girl groups killing it. New Jeans
Yeah.
killing it, absolutely. The Seraphim I personally love as well, but I think a lot of that's the residual Eyes One love of certain people. So, but yeah, it's great. Easily the two of the big things that have revigorated a lot of interest in K-pop for me. Those two groups in particular, but also like getting more into 17 and just oh god, yeah. New Jeans especially too with like with having a producer like 204, what is it, 250, however you say his name. I don't know how you say
250,
his
yeah.
name, but yeah, I'm gonna say 250 or 250 for the sake of
Yeah.
this. Yeah, he is a fantastic producer and he's been winning as well, mainly like for his own album he got awards for, I think in 2022. And so that's cool. And then oh shoot, who's what's his name, Frank, the producer. Frank, he did a couple songs as well for New Jeans, and those have been great. Production wise, yes. Lyrical wise, for one of them, we don't have to get into that fully, but lyrical wise for one of them, not his fault, but unfortunately he probably suffered a little bit because of that. Hate to say it. He wasn't in control of those lyrics though, so he's kind of clean off of I think he's mostly guilt free from that. But
Yeah.
but like seriously, I like how also a lot of, even notably, I think minor Korean like R&B and hip hop artists have been like remixing New Jeans music. Even like
yeah.
I like how like New Jeans in general has just revigorated some Korean artists just to like, oh, I'm like, I love this, love the crossover, it's so cute. And how big they've gotten to the Korean American scene. I've noticed a lot of like, oh, not just Korean Americans, but just like a lot of Asian Americans in general, I feel like have just like been like, okay, New Jeans is ours. You are us. We claim you. And I'm like, I love that. Oh my god. But
I'm glad you mentioned that too with the remixes thing, because that's a good point. And I think that's why it makes sense that their group and their music resonated with me, not only because of who is involved with the production and writing and stuff like that, with a lot of the Bana artists and stuff like that, but yeah, just the response from
I'm about to say Bono's winning in that regard. This recently Bono's been winning.
Yeah, those artists are making money.
Oh yeah,
but
hopefully the royalties are nice, especially 250.
Yeah.
I imagine hopefully 250 is getting a decent payout from that. Will be a crime if not, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Streaming money these days, I don't know how much they make off of that stuff, because it doesn't seem like it's a lot, which is unfortunate. I don't know how it works really, but I hope he is making at least livable money. If you're not a millionaire, at least hopefully you're making livable money off of it, is what I gotta say. So
yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Like, a lot of the artists, like lesser known artists, I follow on SoundCloud. Like, I have a SoundCloud playlist of New Jeans remixes that's over 100 tracks long. Like, that's how many.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how many people were doing remixes and covers and edits and stuff like that. So, it's really, 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 really cool. It's like I said, their style and their influence kind of sparked definitely a creative kind of a renaissance in the Korean hip hop and R&B scene, because I don't think I've ever seen that. The last time I seen that a K-pop group permeate into the R&B and electronic and underground scene that much was probably when Bad Boy came out by Red Velvet, and everyone and their mother was freaking putting out Bad Boy remixes online and SoundCloud.
Not you having a profile picture of Joy right now.
Yeah, right. So
Gee,
Red Velvet's.
I mean, of SM groups to choose these days, I'm not going to shame you for your choice in Red Velvet, but I think you're aware, KB, that we're not the biggest fans of SM Entertainment at the moment, I would say. Whether you agree with us or not in certain instances, but that's fine to disagree, don't worry. But yeah, SM Entertainment in general, it just makes me infuriated these days with their decision making, but that's neither here or there. At least Red Velvet in my eyes was one of the last few good and I think still is, mostly compared to their peers, their younger peers, still has some solid music output. So like that's always made me happy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but also to wrap it up a little bit. So, Cammy, I want to, because I honestly don't have much concert commentary in terms of R&B, hip hop artists or stuff like that. I wanted to know about a couple things, though. One, I think Kayla and Sammy would agree with me. I think they want to hear about I think we would love to hear about your camp experience, if you have much memory or like a recollection of that day. Because I remember a couple posts you made in the Discord about that. And I remember being, God, what the hell is going on here? And I think we need to document it in an audio format about that, or what have you experienced that you remember that's noteworthy. And then I also was curious about any other concert experiences you may or may not have had with some R&B, hip-hop, indie artists from Korea. Because unfortunately, I do not, but I would like to someday have those experiences.
Sure. For the camp, that's the one you're referring to, right? The camp.
Yeah,
like late 2022.
Yes, late 2022. So not 2023, but close enough.
Yeah, that one was an interesting one because obviously, probably most people that are K-pop fans know how much of a shit show that was. Online, at least.
Such a mess.
And they had this big, really almost unbelievable lineup originally, and then like literally, I think a day or two before, or the week of, half the lineup dropped due to visa issues and poor planning kind of stuff. Yeah, that was, in terms of like the optics of it online and social media, and definitely there's a lot of people that have traveled specifically for certain artists.
Oh God, yeah.
One of our mutuals were in the Truly Daebak Discord.
Oh yeah.
Jacob of Truly Daebak, he actually came and I met up with him and went to one of the concert days with him.
Oh my God, really? I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we met up, and he specifically went to that concert because Taeyeon was supposed to be in there, and she's one of the artists that got dropped. So I think, and then also in terms of like the price of the tickets they were ambitious. Everything about it was kind of crazy because like the venue itself, the Rose Bowl, is a huge football stadium for like, that's where I think UCLA plays or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's a huge ass thing, and they were originally only using half of it, and then I think they had to move the stage up even more because they weren't selling tickets. Yeah, but the ticket prices were crazy. I think like the cheapest tier was like $300 for
that's
one day.
That's a scam. That's practically a scam at that point.
Yeah, it was 2 days. So with all that in terms of, like I said, optically it's very bad, and the thing is, for me, my personal experience, I thought it was pretty good.
That's good, actually.
Yeah,
I'm glad you got something out of it, but like, you still had to pay like $300 for like how many? What, did you only go one day or something, or?
Well, see, that's the thing here. I got my tickets for free, so that's another big factor. That's a big caveat for me, is that I had low investment. There is a lot of people that bought tickets to that for both days and were flying from out of town. I know I saw a lot of people flying from like Canada and East Coast and all that because, like I said, the lineup was insane. It had like Kai, had Taeyeon. I can't remember a lot of the groups, but yeah, a lot of those, when those half of those dropped out, people were already arriving or were at the concert, and learning that those artists weren't going to be there. So that was very shitty, and I think that sucks when you invest that much money into that. Like even Jacob himself, like he specifically went for Taeyeon, and Taeyeon ended up not showing up.
Yeah, no, he's a big SNSD fanboy, so like I can get that. And we love, by the way, we love SNSD on this podcast. They're probably our favorite girl group from SM. I'm just gonna put that out there. But cool. Yeah, but like awesome, yeah. We like, I would say from SM, they're like the default favorite, I think, overall amongst us three. I think there's certain songs of them still vary in terms of like what we like more, what not more, but we will defend I Got a Boy like we want to. We will defend that song.
There you go. Yeah.
If need be.
So. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like, that's why it was very weird for me, because me being there and seeing the reaction and then like the stuff that people were seeing online. Like online, you would think like it was a fucking it's the Fire Fest of K-pop and shit show. But being there, you know, besides the lineup stuff, like everything was pretty good. Like the entrance, I mean, there was kind of a lack of maybe like food options and like vendor stuff outside of the venue, but in terms of the concert itself, I had a lot of fun. And that was the thing. I think because of the lack of sales, they started doing these raffles to give away tickets, and that's how I won my tickets.
Nice. You know what? Yeah, if it's free, might as well go.
yeah, and that's like I said, the people that paid money, I understand like 100% why you would be upset. And then it definitely was a shit show in that sense. And like, God, even the parking was like $60.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Ew.
It was just crazy. Like,
oh,
it just felt like very much they definitely shot. They very much were in over their head, I think, for what they were trying to do, in terms of like the artists they were bringing. So an aspect of it was too good to be true. But like I said, I got, and like I said, I got the tickets for free. I had a fun time. I got to see Chang'a.
Lucky you.
Yeah, Chang'a, aespa was probably the highlight. They closed out the show on Sunday, the second night. I will say that after seeing them live, they're probably my favorite K-pop I've ever seen live performed.
So that's interesting you say that.
Yeah, because I know their reputation as performers, I guess, is I didn't really know that.
I mean, you're aware that we're not the big, you know, we us three are not necessarily the biggest fans.
Yeah, and to be honest, quite honest, I was not the biggest aespa. I liked some of the songs they put out, but I was not a big fan of their stuff until recently, last year with their latest EP. But yeah, seeing those songs like Black Mamba and like Next Level live, like it was awesome. So that was probably one of my favorite highlights of it. And then the other highlight would be Epic High. Epic High.
Epic High is great. Oh my god.
Yeah, like I said, they're a very popular, one of the OG hip hop rap groups. And they very much have a foothold in the K-pop scene. So I'm almost certain every K-pop fan knows who Epic High is. So they
probably
have that
thanks
crossover.
to YG, honestly. Thanks to YG.
Yeah, YG, and they had Tablo used to have their own label on there.
True, right?
And he had his podcast and all that stuff. So he's very much known. But their performance was awesome. Jacob, I know, is a big Epic High fan, so he was definitely down for that. And I had a great time too. And it was funny because Tablo actually, I'm sure he ran into certain issues with what the concert, the behind the scenes stuff, because he went on like the whole performance. It was like talking shit on like slyly mentioning like, oh, you know, sometimes things don't go as planned, but we gotta go with the show.
Yeah, he really poking the bear right there.
Yeah. So that was awesome too, and I got to see like I think who else was it? Momoland was there.
Oh God,
they were actually fun. And I think who else was it? P1 Harmony.
Oh,
Are they
P1
under this?
Harmony's good. P1 Harmony.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I think,
solid.
yeah, they were dope. They were one of the opener groups, and they did really really well. Um, in terms of the performance, I think who else was there? Icon was there.
Oh yeah,
Bobby was
Icon.
out there with like a see-through wet T-shirt, and I saw
Nope.
his nipples. Uh,
That's what you wanted to see. I'm like, I see
yeah.
the nipples now.
But yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, it was a really great concert, and it sucks that all the bad stuff, because I don't think they can do. I know they did like a thing in Mexico this recent
Oh God,
past year.
really? Oh jeez.
Yeah, and I think that one was even a shit show also, but I don't think they can ever do. It sucks because this probably was the best thing that could rival KCON, which is kind of the only big K-pop festival with big name artists and that big of a scope. And I think, yeah, it just sucks that it went so south, because I was like, being here, I was like, man, this was actually really cool. I don't know if I would buy a ticket if they ever did it again, but I'll take another one for free. But
it's like,
yeah, it was definitely
it's a free concert, and the only thing you have to pay for was like parking, maybe some food. That's not half bad in the grand scheme of things. So I wouldn't complain too much, to be fair. So I get that.
I think the price, I guess, if the original lineup had stayed true, I think the prices of the tickets may have been a bit more reasonable. But yeah, I think it was too expensive. Obviously the planning and the follow through was a shit show. But like I said, in terms of what we got, being there, it was pretty okay. It was pretty good. I had a good time. But yeah, it's definitely it's cool because it felt like a historical moment with how shitty it was. And I even
did you see someone get like pulled away from security too?
Oh yeah. There was like some, I don't know if they were like fan site people or just like people sneaking, because that's the thing too, is that a lot of the floor area was empty because those were like the most expensive tickets. So you see that a lot in concerts. So I think a lot of people were trying to sneak into there. I don't know if that was the case, but yeah, there was people getting dragged away. Like,
oh my God.
It was just kind of crazy. There was like some weird stuff going on, but nothing. I think I've been to many festivals and concerts, and I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary. It was definitely not the worst music festival I've ever been to. But yeah,
well, that's good.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I understand why people were upset, and it's definitely so. It's funny because they were still selling merch, like T-shirts and like stuff with the original lineup. It's like half the artists weren't even there. So someone on, I think, like a Etsy or something like that, I bought a shirt from them where they basically recreated the merch shirt that they were selling, but they crossed out all the ones that and then on the front it says "I survived camp 2022." So I bought that as just like a memento, because yeah, even all the merch too was like very basic, and like I said, it has a lineup of half the people not there, and it was like super expensive. So that was a funny thing I bought afterwards, just to commemorate that experience. But yeah,
I
it was
survived
cool.
camp, even though you didn't really. It didn't sound like you had to do too much surviving, which is probably for the best, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like Fire Fest bad. Like I said, the product or the actual concert and stuff like that we got was fine. It was. Like I said, I've been the worst, but yeah, definitely all the other bullshit surrounding it and leading up to it was definitely the worst part. And yeah, that was unfortunate, but yeah, it sucks because it could have been. I think it could have been something. I would definitely consider going to a year, like if they were to do it, if it went well and they were to do another one the next year, I probably would consider it. But considering how bad shit went, I don't think I would trust that company with.
Yeah, no, they would probably. I imagine that company would have to either change their name or rebrand the name of the concert to something else to try to distance themselves. Honestly,
right. But yeah, that was in terms of other concert experiences. I don't think I had many last year. Last year I did go, like I said, see Seisonan.
Ooh, yeah.
I talked about Soyun earlier, and that that was really great. I think that was the one concert I went to. Yeah, that was really dope.
At that concert, did she do her own solo songs as well, or was it just the band stuff?
it was mainly, I think she may have performed one of her solo songs, and it was the one on her first album that Say So None actually features on. So it might as
Okay,
well have just
gotcha.
been a Say So None. Yeah.
So
But
she
yeah,
just
that
focused mainly on the band stuff. Okay, that's fair. Just
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how some of that goes because sometimes maybe they do combine some stuff, sometimes they don't. But okay, she kept it to the band stuff, so that's good.
Yeah, and that was awesome because I had missed them the year before because when they came, they had a concert. They had a tour in 2022, and right when they came, it was at a really bad venue, really small, like in a bad area of LA. So I was
Ugh.
like, I don't want to, but I bought tickets anyway. But then leading up to it, I actually got COVID, so I couldn't go.
Oh, jeez, you poor
I think I
thing.
was actually getting over COVID, but I still felt like shit, and I was like, I'm not going to that shitty, basically like a basement type venue.
Yeah, you probably weren't even spreading the virus at that point, but that's fair. Like, who wants to
Yeah,
be still ill and just like in an enclosed basement like
right.
area like that? Like, ugh, no,
Yeah, and that was a
no.
bummer too, because literally, I was out of town on a trip, and that's how I got sick, basically from traveling. And when I came back, I had a lineup of AOMG had a tour. I had tickets to that. Another artist named Sasami was having a show in LA that I had tickets to, and then the Say So None concert, which I all had to miss because of COVID.
Yeah,
Um, so that
talk about it
sucked.
being a
But
buzzkill.
yeah, so that was a bummer. Other than that, yeah, I haven't been to very many, um, like especially like K-pop stuff. I have not been to any of the tours I've gone through, like
Yeah, I've only been to
Luna
technically two
stuff.
so far. Like I've only
Yeah,
been to Sunmi in 2019 and then like BTS in 2019 as well. Those were like basically 2 months apart. So
yeah,
I lucked out. I was like, I want to see both, so I'm gonna do it. So I had
right.
my that was
Yes,
my fill, but I think since 2020, I want to go back to a concert, but at the same time I almost don't because some of y'all are acting out a little bit at the concerts too much, and I kind of don't want to deal with you and your I need to be the center of attention.
mm,
Putting not thrusting babies, but like putting your children on stage and having a teenage girl trying to pick her up and give her back off the stage. Like, come on, y'all.
yeah,
Like some
yes,
of the things I've heard some of y'all doing, I'm like, what the hell? I'm
yeah. That
sorry.
last like Luna
Just
tour was wild.
oh my god.
Um,
Wait,
but
which
even
one
like
was it?
I think it was Luna that had like it was like the
Oh
last
god, the
Luna thing.
documentary on that was just ridiculous. It sucks too. Like Chu wasn't even there at bare minimum, and
Hmm.
then everything else that happened during that tour. I was like, I'm kind of glad I actually didn't go. Unfortunately, like would I have loved to see Luna in person? Yes, but like with them in that state with that ridiculous schedule, no,
Yeah, yeah,
not
that
at
was kind
all.
of insane.
No.
But yeah, even like after that, in the new kind of Luna offshoots, they've been doing a lot of tours and like Triple S and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I really like those. Like Mod House was definitely a big, besides New Jeans and like Le Seraphim, Triple S. A lot of the Triple S songs I really liked, and Odd Eye Circle and um, Heejin releasing stuff last year. I really loved all that stuff, but
Oh yeah.
it's kind it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, is it worth me having to call off a day of work, or do I want to spend the money on this? Like, because they are really expensive. I think they're. I mean, I'm sure you
Yeah.
guys talked about it. Like, they
Yeah,
definitely are taking
with
advantage.
unfortunately the cost of everything being expensive, I don't foresee myself going to a concert this year. Probably
Yeah, so I kind of
realistically, which
have.
sucks, but like I need to save some money, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So,
same. Yeah,
uh,
so it's just kind of making those decisions. So I think
like
the
yeah,
only one I would hold out on and would go for sure is obviously Red Velvet is my all-time favorite alt
oh yeah,
group. So if they ever happen to do a tour again, because I missed them the first time they came around in like
damn.
2018.
I tried to get
Um,
tickets to the New Jersey thing, and they were already sold out. It was
yeah,
ridiculous. I was like, damn
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
That was a big bummer. I was like, so
I was
that's
like,
like my
bummer.
big, yeah, that's my big like all-time goal. Like whatever I can do to get those tickets. What if they ever do come? Like that's what I would go all out for. But
That's fair.
yeah,
And
in
at this
terms of
point,
other stuff.
yeah, I feel like at this point, who I would want to see in concert again would probably be like, I think it'd be crazy to try to get tickets to, but like at this point, BTS or Seraphim or like New Jeans, I guess I would say at this point in time. if I
Yeah.
would, but I feel like all three of those alone are just going to be hard to get, I think, with how popular. The Seraphim might be the easiest. I say might, though, because that's a very loose might, because, like, it probably would still be quite difficult to get Le Seraphim tickets, because I think they're pretty decently well-liked. But, like, New
Right.
Jeans, oh, geez, forget it. New Jeans is going to be a madhouse
Yeah.
whenever that happens.
Yeah, I think
And,
unless
yeah.
unless they're at like some festival that I'm already happen to go to, which I don't
Yeah.
really care for festivals that much. I don't know. That would be hard too, because like even with Twice has been doing all kinds of stadium tours, and I'm like, I don't. For me, I don't see the value in seeing any artist in like a stadium type venue, because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so expensive and you're so far away. Like it doesn't even I feel like you hear the people around you more than you hear the artist.
Yeah.
So I definitely like more intimate, smaller venues for artists, but that kind of, once they skyrocket to fame, that's kind of out of the question at a certain point. So
Yeah.
that's
it's
also
like,
definitely a factor.
oh yeah, like it was very interesting on that topic. It's a very interesting like juxtaposition from like Sunmi at the time to like BTS, because that was like the stadium tour. I went from a small venue in New York, but that was filled, that was sold out, to like a big stadium tour, which is like the juxtaposition of that is like insane. It was fun to hear her talk too as well. She was like, it was like crazy to see her up close. I'm like, oh my god, I get to see a second gen idol this close up. This is wild. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
her discography was kind of limited too at that point, so she did a few cover songs that were really good as well. But like it was still a great time. The only thing though with the smaller venues I have to say that are like annoying is that you can easily hear the hecklers, and because the room
Right.
gets quieter easier, and it's like they were trying. So a couple people I feel like were almost like barking commands at her, and I'm just like, I almost felt tempted to be like, "Bitch, shut the hell up!" But then again, I would have drawn attention to myself. But so that would have been rude. But you know, it's kind of like, you know, they're almost like attempting to bark commands, and I'm just like, girl, hello, let her perform.
Yeah.
Do not let her talk during her talking moments, because it's her time to chill and try to interact with us. You're not given, unless you're given the microphone to talk. Just cheer. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like, what are you doing? Like, that's like the annoyance of the smaller venues for me, because it's like they can hear that more easily, I think.
True.
The larger venues, it's more like distant cheering. So it's like they don't have that much close contact, but like it's cool to see the grandiose of things. Like seeing BTS in 2019 do their shit was wild. And seeing the props, how things were executed, it was like insanity to me to be like, y'all were literally sharing a bedroom, all cramped, all 7 of you together, and now you're doing this shit. This is wild how it came so far. But like, I don't know, it's wild to see all that happen in real time in such a short amount of time. But
I can imagine too, like how crazy their show. Because I mean, with how big BTS, and I saw them at KCON in 2016.
I forgot they did. That was like the last time I think they went to KCON. To be fair, they were way too big to stick around. So
yeah, even then too. Like I know they've gone bigger, but even back then, like that was at KCON's usually at Staples Center now, the Crypto.com arena, where like, and I go to hockey games there all the time.
It's called the Crypto.com arena. Oh
yeah.
Oh god, I want to barf. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a terrible name.
Yeah, it's lame.
Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I've been to many hockey games and playoff games, and like 2016, seeing BTS and KCON, like with how, you know, popular they were back then, like that was the loudest I've ever heard that building. Like my ears literally were kind of like ringing after that because of how loud the screams were. So I can only imagine what their shows are like now, because I was blown away. I was insane. It was insane how and you know, compared to how they are now, that was back then in 2016 when they were still kind of on the come up. But yeah, I couldn't imagine, like even just in 2019, that how insane that would be.
God, yeah, like, I'm just like, I mean, first things first off, maybe we just need to encourage more ear protection at these shows at this point.
True.
Because seeing the clips from the Travis Scott show recently, like, I know we're not supposed to like Travis Scott, I get it, I understand. But, like, I've seen clips from, like, behind the scenes audio engineers controlling the thing. The stadiums are, like, shaking. The ambulance
Yeah.
bus in the background might as well be twerking because that thing's bouncing up and down like, oh my god. It's like insane how loud certain concerts can get just with the crowds and just like with technology advancements and all that jazz. But yeah, no, BTS it was an experience. It was definitely a once in a lifetime experience. And I'm just like, wow, this is the closest I'm ever going to be to them. That's wild. And I'm like, keep in mind, I'm in like the second tier of like all the stadium things. Like that was the closest I could get for like a decent price. That was like 125, I think, at the time, which like in the grand scheme of things isn't too bad. For like a second row, not like second row from the front, but like what am I trying to say? Like in the stadium, there's like the three different tiers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Based off
like
pricing, so I was in like
section.
that second tier, section. So I'm like, oh my god. So it was good view for the most part too. So like, but everyone was like, standing the whole time because of course they were. You don't buy seats for sitting in concerts these days. You buy for standing.
At my age now, I'm like, I love when they have sitting sections. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I don't have to sit for 2-3 hours.
No, I mean, I prefer sitting, but like, most people, especially like, you think they're going to be sitting at a Taylor Swift concert for the most part? No, they're dancing. They're up and dancing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like same thing with K-pop. I feel like everyone's just standing. Right, no one really sits, I feel like, which is like, but
yeah, that actually happened to me because I did another artist I went to is Biba Doobie. She's like a Filipino indie rock.
Oh, she's great. I love her music.
Yeah. So I really love her. I'm half Filipino, so it was like I really liked seeing that Filipino artist getting that type of recognition and it's that popular. She opened up for Taylor Swift on her tour last year. So I got to see. Yeah, so which is crazy, but I was like, oh, I need to see her now before it's like stadiums, like you were saying, like BTS kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I saw her at the Greek Theater. And at the Greek Theater is kind of like a outdoor venue, but it has seating. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I get to sit the whole concert. And then as soon as she came out, everyone just stands up and like, oh, damn it.
I swear, people don't know how to sit anymore. Yeah. But anyways. Any other final thoughts you have, Cammy, of this whole video that we have? Oh my god, we took our time with this. To put it bluntly, but any other final thoughts you have?
No, just like I said, it was a great year. It was, like I said, last year was one of my favorites in terms of all aspects of Korean music, indie, electronic, R&B, hip-hop, K-pop even. So it's really nice to talk to you about it. I don't have very many people that let alone in real life, but even online, I'm kind of...
Yeah, forget about real life. Throw reality out the window at this point.
Right. So it's just, there's very few people that I can talk to about it. And you're one of the few people I know. I can tell a lot of times when I talk about this stuff and I get into the weeds of like these artists. Yeah. A lot of people don't know. So I can see that their interest is, their eyes glaze over, or, they're people are like, oh, that's cool, and then it's not really interesting. But I know for you specifically, and understand. So it's nice talking to you about it. So you kind of can understand all this stuff. So I really appreciate you having me on here. I really had a good time talking about this.
Oh, I'm glad, Cammy. Thanks for coming along. Because like I feel like this was going to be an eventual thing at some point, but like I wasn't like quite sure because of, I don't know, life and things and stuff like that. But like it's great to talk to someone else who also is into like these very niche interests, and you were always like one of the chill ones. You're always like on the pulse too as well of all this type of music. So not that you have to do all that, but you definitely do it because you just genuinely enjoy that. And I love that type of passion, that kind of like genuinely enjoying all this. And it's great to talk to like a group of people who get it. Because you don't get it, especially the more niche stuff. This is like this sort of niche stuff. I feel like it's very much not like other girls' niche stuff. Like the only other thing I could say that's like a not like well, I mean, you're not a girl, but like, you know what I mean. Like it's very much like that niche. That's kind of like not a lot of people in real life talk about that stuff. Like I think the only other thing I could think of for me that I was into was like, I had a brief period where I was into some samurai cinema, which is very much like a not like other girls situation. Because like what girls do you know that talk about that sort of stuff?
Exactly.
It's very much a dude thing. If anyone's into that, it's a dude thing. But anyways, not to get too off topic, but yeah, I have had I can't speak. I have had a great time today. I love when I get to talk about that. I wish I would have had the motivation to talk more about this sort of stuff throughout our podcast stuff, but like honestly, I just like doing the year-end review stuff because this is a very nice thing. It's very easy for people to like listen to, catch up, and go about their day doing that. So yeah, but I'm greatly appreciative for you to come on, considering I name dropped you so many times without your permission, probably. But,
no, it's fine.
I name dropped
Totally
you too many
fine.
times because I'm just like, yep, you're the sole person. And then the occasional, was it hip-hop, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, news that shows up on my feed from time to time. But like, no, it's mainly you. And I thank you in particular for all of the just introducing me and a few other select group of people to like this kind of music and being kind of like the third party entity helping bring it to the masses almost. Because especially through your playlist, because your playlists I think were super helpful for me as well back in the day, for me to like get on board and like really learn about all that sort of stuff. So I thank you as well for helping me expand my horizons, if you will, with all this stuff. So like you're definitely big with pushing all that stuff. So don't you pat yourself on the back, fam. Like honestly, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, thank you. That's very nice to hear. That's basically kind of always been my goal since starting K Music Every Day, is just kind of be the bridge to these Korean artists and music, that to get into a wider audience. And that was my whole thing starting it was, look, these artists are really cool and the songs that they're putting out is really dope, so I want more people to know about them. So
exactly, you get
it's
it.
Really it's really great. It's really great to know that that's kind of at least paid off for you. So thank you.
Hey, in strides, it's a huge influence. I mean, it's the only thing that will put the cherry on top is that someday, it's definitely not happening this year or probably next year, but someday my ass needs to get to Korea, I think, and South Korea in particular, and Japan, and probably somewhere else in Asia as well. Singapore, we'll say. That's like, I feel like it's the inevitable that just, I feel like I want to happen in my life. Who knows when that's going to happen, but I feel like that would just be the nice cherry on top of all this whole music journey, to think that it all started for me just because of a couple songs that my cousin received from like someone at her private school. Crazy how it got there. And then it led to this. It's like a butterfly effect that just ended up leading to this eventually, which is wild. But you know what? I love it. I love get to talk to people like you, KME, and just talk about music, even when I don't know everything. Even I could have probably had better listening patterns this year, to be fair. So, but it was a pretty solid year overall, I think, for this sort of stuff, for for K-pop music, even if it wasn't considered to be a high in the R&B, the hip-hop, Korean space. I think it was a pretty solid year for music releases. It's been great talking it with you. If you're ever down to do this again, let me know. I will put it out there. I'll extend the offer if you want it.
Anytime. Just let me know. We gotta get Sat's the homie as well.
God, yeah, we gotta get Sat to listen to and have a 3-way conversation.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well. That would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, Sat's a homie. Shout out to Satsy. And also shout out to Kayla right now for also helping us with editing stuff. God bless you. This is going to be a long thing. You're probably going to split this into 2, I imagine. But God bless, even, I don't know how you feel about God in general, but just bless you, Kayla. Bless you, girl. Thank you for doing the things that I failed to do. I can't edit. But thank you, Kayla. But yeah, so that about wraps it up. All right, now for me to attempt to do an outro as good as Kayla, speaking of which. So here we go. We are available on all your major podcasting platforms and services. I'm pretty sure the links are below in the YouTube comment section, so please check that out. Including mainly, you can find our podcast too on Spotify and Apple Music, especially too, as well. And yeah, we usually release these episodes mostly weekly. So check us on the next episode, whichever iteration it is, whether it's Kayla and Samly, either when I'm involved, and just, and sometimes once in a while we have special guests like KME, so check us out. Alright, and then with that, we will see you on the next episode. I can't speak. We will see you on the next episode. Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.